Welcome one and all to Swim or Sink number 212. And it's a very, very lax Wednesday evening on my end. I'm Frostix. I'm joined by Topic. What's up, man?
You know, it is, like you said, very, very relaxed type of Wednesday. First Wednesday of the year. Number one, Happy New Year to everyone, by the way. First SOS of the year. So, of course, everyone wants to start the year off on the right foot, even if it's just a set win. That's good for you. And speaking of a set win, we have a great one coming up to you. Do we have wrist today? I hope you do. If you don't, get that checked out by the doctor. Versus Wyrmwind.
Yeah, Wyrmwind consisting of Gillies, Grace, Max Mix, and Turple. And do we have wrist today consisting of X071, Oxy, PP, Gangster 69. I said that with a straight face. And Riding. And yeah, already.
I'm sorry. I can't take that name seriously.
Listen, Topic. I'm hot off the presses of a paddling pool where the first set I casted had a team named if I remember correctly 6-7 mustard bottles in the big 2026. So
I'm a weak man. Okay, but other than that, we are starting off very, very, you know what, not my favorite, Zone Taggle, the vanilla ice cream of Splatoon 3, but both these teams are ready and raring to go. Wrist today, interestingly, bringing over a Forge Pro, not one you see very often. And of course, you see PP Gangsta with that splash, you know, very nice, very basic. It's Hagglefish, why not go with a bit of a basic? It works. On the other side, Wyrmwind Mini, a weapon that has been seeing a lot of usage recently because of both that hammer, that fast fire rate, and alongside just being a really, really good main weapon in general. It's to do a lot of damage here, but so far, Wyrmwind, not the best start for them.
yeah, no, they're already getting gunned down here, and Gillies is the last one left. They are able to get rid of PP Gangster. Oxy's going to be forced to jump out here. Gillies could potentially secure jumps for the rest of Wyrmwind, and that they do. They're slowly starting to trickle out here. Do we have wrist today? Is now sitting at 70 points at the lead, but this lead could be shrunk down in the matter of minutes if Wyrmwind can get their hold going.
Yeah, and we see right here, trying to use this hammer to get off, to get the Heavy Edit off of that 10. Not quite able to do a lot, but Heavy Edit just sitting there, got that cooler, got the Booyah Bomb. You see them going in with the Zuka, with the Crab as well, but Wyrmwind holding on 1 point away, able to get the lead. Unfortunately, one member of theirs is going to go down, but still, wrist today still in a very good spot. Oxy top mid, just looking to drop on somebody, not quite able to get any picks right away, going down to the hammer instead, but giving, do we have wrist today enough time to at least get into the zone? But not a whole lot else, because Wyrmwind, they've been able to just sit around this backside of zone along with that bubble, just kind of stay content where they are and fight another day, live to fight another day.
Yeah, they've got two splat lanes. It just allows them to have a lot of good staying power, especially comboed with the bubble from the mini. Oh, not the mini, but from the junior. But right now, the leads are deadly close. 61 to 65. I hear Zuka shots going off. A Brave Waker has been deployed here. The zone has been flipped in blue, and the rest of Do We Have Wrist today are starting to back up while the rest of Wyrmwind are closing in already. That Carbon's going down here, and Gillies is moving in with a Carbon of their own. A hammer has been popped and potentially thrown out already. There's a Booyah Bomb, and as well as a Crab ready on Do We Have Wrist today. The Crab tank has been popped on Tent. A Booyah Bomb is being charged by Oxy, and now Do We Have Wrist today's arsenal is being deployed in full force. There's the flip.
I mean, yeah, I want to shout out to Oxy there, kind of in a wipeout as well, to using that Booyah Bomb to protect the Crab, getting PP Gangsta down, or getting PP Gangsta that space to work with very well. And you see how quickly Do We Have Wrist just pushing up and getting a lot of space, getting the Carbon down on this side of Wyrmwind is very, very helpful for them. And even though they did go 1-for-1, look how far up they are. They had Tent, but now with that being gone, you see right away with that backline likes to go up there and just doing what they do, just rain shots from above.
Yeah, but speaking of raining shots from above, I think Wyrmwind is starting to give Do We Have Wrist today a taste of their own medicine, deploying a little bit of their own arsenal here. The hammer's already been deployed, the bubbles come out here, Gillies is now all out of Zuka shots here, and they are in control of the zone, already getting rid of the roller on Do We Have Wrist today here. That's a very key player to get rid of. You maybe want to get rid of Oxy on the Forge Pro, and that they do. No Booyah Bomb, and no, I think that's no Crab either, getting rid of PP Gangster. Now Gillies is sitting under 10. You do not want to go there lest you get one tapped, and now Wyrmwind is counting it down, but there's two members down. The Booyah Bomb is going to come out from Oxy. Will this be the flip?
Okay.
Topic?
Yeah, nice job. Nice Booyah Bomb just cutting off the escape route for that heavy edit and just allowing the rest of Do We Have Risky to push forward and get so much space. And you see right now they have that cooler. They're going to have the Zuka in a second. They're going to have the Crab as well. Zuka, as I said right there, getting popped, getting a nice pick on the heavy edit. Their backline is going to be gone. Hammer, though, in response, going to go down in a trade. It's going to be at least a little bit helpful for Do You Have Risk today for now. PP Gangsta saying, hey, I don't care about your bubble. I'm rushing you down. It's going to work. Popping the Crab as well. You got to put an exclamation point on this game, because if you're a Wyrmwind, you have to face the brunt of a Crab, the Booyah Bomb from Oxy. You see the flames coming out. It may be a second to like Gillies is going to be in the zone. It's not going to do a whole lot. And Do We Have Risk today, after a very back and forth game, they got a nice wipeout. They pushed up to court. They got I think the carbon on underneath the tent to watch anyone going up above it, and they just took over. So great job there. Just solid game and a fist bump on top of that.
Yeah, any bumpers, and they get the bumpers to close out game one. Very solid start to the tournament and perhaps the year as a whole here. I think going into that Hagglefish game, I was a little bit skeptical of having both Forge and Splash here. I think maybe they can kind of fill in the same niche here, but I think between PP Gangsta and 071, they kind of played it at different kind of paces and tempos here. We saw the Splash being really hyped, really like eager to go in, utilize its kit to its fullest, not just to paint but also to support the aggression of their roller as well. And then Oxy was just able to keep down the sight lines here. They had really innovative Booyah Bombs that when you called out that they used the Booyah Bomb to protect the Crab, I'm like, whoa. That one image of like Tesla and Einstein together, it's like, wow. That's genius.
I mean, yeah, and I can also kind of use that analogy to what their specials as well. I mean, multiple times we saw, do we have risk today? They used the Booyah Bomb to either A, cut off the escape route of the members of Wyrmwind, like we saw with that heavy edit, or not heavy edit, with the heavy splatling, like midway through the game, or they'll use it defensively to protect the Crab, because like we saw, both these teams, they had a carbon sat underneath that tent area just waiting. So nice job using that Booyah Bomb to kind of clear that out. But we're gonna see if they can keep it up, because I think they can with Clam Blitz, Umami Ruined, and honestly I like it here. You know, they have the Crab very good on top mid, on silo, on offense or defense. You have that Booyah Bomb, very good in general under basket, on silo as well. Have that carbon, very good around the midsection. So I think their comp works really well. Decided to stick with it. And on the side of Wyrmwind, we're going to see, ooh, okay, the switch over to the Bubble Mini instead of the Junior. So maybe that Splash would be a lot more helpful with that aggressive special here.
And it's not just that, I think they've switched from headed over to heavy splatling, but already Gillies is the first one to go down. I think right now, for both teams, you really want to position your splatling players in really opportunistic and advantageous positions. That way you just have the sightlines, you have the paint coverage that you need, and already Grace will be popping out a Crab in already above Divider.
Ooh, okay.
2 members down on Do We Have Risk today? Does Wyrmwind have the clamps needed? Turple does have at least 1 power clamp ready to go. That is a barrier break for Wyrmwind, and Grace is throwing the extra clamps needed. They get to 65. If they can break past the 60 threshold, that'll be a very solid start here. But 62, I think as this push is closing out, wait, there's more from Grace as the lead is pushed to 53. That's a very solid opening push if you're Wyrmwind.
I mean, yeah, very good. That push even started really well. They had that bubble in place. They had the Crab to kind of push away. And I think switching over to the Splash is very helpful, because you have that aggressive front. We're going to see that aggressive side coming out of Do You Have Risk today. You see how fast they're pushing up. The heavy going down, very big. Crab again from PP Gangsta popping out. And you see a very defensive bubble being popped to try to like minimize it, as Turple did manage to waste if not a majority of that Crab. But here we go. Oxy does pop the Booyah Bomb. One member is going to go down as well. Very unfortunate there. And Wyrmwind, very good job just waiting out that Booyah Bomb, shredding it, and just making it not as effective as it could have been, because now Do We Have Risk today? Their very strong push has been stopped, and the Crab is kind of an exclamation point on that really solid defense.
Yeah, I think that being said, Do We Have Risk Today are still kind of poised to get going. They have 2 power climbs ready to go, but this Brave Waker may just be the stop to that here. It's chopping up territory, forcing Do We Have Risk Today to jump for joy, and boom, Riding's going down. Same thing with Oxy. It's a 2v2 now in mid here as Gillies jumps in, takes out the enemy Carbon who goes down to Grace's, not Grace's, to PP Gangster's Crab, and now it's just Max Mix in mid here. Grace as well as Turple are starting to reinforce them, but right now Do We Have Risk Today are just having a lot of control here. The Booyah Bomb
nice booyah
by Oxy. Is this the time to go?
I mean, yeah, that was a really, really good booyah. Unfortunately, no other members were able to really capitalize on that. And for that, the Carbon's going to get a nice flank. 3 members down inside of Wyrmwind. So very, very good change of fate if you are Wyrmwind. If you're Risk, just a bit too disorganized, I will say. And Wyrmwind just breaking that barrier. A couple more clans spawning in as well, getting it down to, I believe, 38. Yes, 35 as well. Oxy popping a booyah to at least stop or stall for now. But you see Gillies just causing a distraction, doing enough to have their team get even more clamped and down to 29. 2 members left for Wyrmwind, forced to back away. But hey, you're 3 minutes into the game. The enemy team has yet to score. You'll take that 9 times out of 9.
Exactly, that is just further salt in the wound if you are Wyrmwind. But right now, the numbers are dwindling. There's 2 members down. Already Rioting has a power clam ready to go, and they're already in a very advantageous forward position. Already Turple's going down. PP Gangster starting to move in, assisted by Oxy. They may have a double power clam push in the works, but do they have the specials going? Rioting, unfortunately, going down here. There's a Booyah Bomb ready for Oxy, who's trying to push in.
Gets
There's
it.
the barrier break, but it's only 071, and they go down. A second power clam will not be hitting the basket just yet. And already, look, Wyrmwind has 2 power clams ready to go on their own and a crab tank. This could spell disaster.
I mean, yeah, Wyrmwind, really good job taking advantage of that desperation from Do We Have Risk Today and capitalizing on that booyah. I'm going to be popping the bubble to stall it out. It is going to work out, getting triple down, but not before getting 2 power clams in. It looks like Wyrmwind has hit the double ball strategy there, if one may call it. And now Wyrmwind down to 12 points remaining, 4 clams away. But Do You Have Risk Today? They did get a push going, but it just wasn't a really sustained one. Now you have kind of that clock against you. You have less than a minute to go. You're gonna have to get a really solid push. You need a lot of clams. You have a Booyah Bomb. You're gonna have Crab in a sec, but you have to be wary of the other side's Crab, the other side's specials as well. As we're going to see right here, Wyrmwind just doing a really solid defense. Turple getting behind them, getting a nice pick there, looking for even more. Crab on the right-hand side, as you can see, not a whole lot. Wyrmwind kind of ignoring the Crab, which worked out really well in their favor, and a pincer there, and the ball's gone. So very unfortunate series of events for Do We Have Risk Today, as now you have no clams, you have no pity as well. So yeah, no ball as well. So it's like you need to build one as fast as possible, because if not, that could be the end. She wrote. Grace, nice job distracting, allowing the Carbon to get in, get a double kill, and that's all she wrote. Wyrmwind, just really solid game, just really nice. Exactly. Really good.
Exactly. I think what I noticed within that final push, Do We Have Risk Today had just a lot stacked up against them. They had to practically get a knockout because of Wyrmwind setting the lead at 12 with that double power clam push that they did earlier here. And then they were kind of forced into a really tricky situation because I think they were all kind of stacked up on Divider while that wave breaker was going on here. They maybe committed specials a little bit too early, and it's like you said here, they slowly started running out of clams. They had no power clams as well here. I think they were starting to dwindle down on specials here, and then slowly the resources start to drain, and it doesn't leave them a lot left to work with as the clock keeps ticking to 0. So we will be going to game number 3. Splat Zone's Robo Ramen, a darling of the competitive scene, just because of how just kind of straightforward it maybe feels.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than Hagglefish. I don't like Zone Haggle. I made that very clear. I like this one a lot better, because I think both these teams are gonna like it as well. The only switch we saw was Turple going over to the bubble mini instead of the no. There's heavy game 1.
No. Oh, that's been there. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, heavy's been there. Yeah, the only change we saw was Turple going to the bubble mini. So I I don't know if they go back. Do you think they go back to the hammer one? Because I think it's good because you can clear the enemy snipe really well. And that's really it. But at the same time, if you pop a bubble there, that's really defensive, and you can like kind of eat a Booyah Bomb. You can eat a Zuka shot or two. You can like kind of invalidate like half a crab. So it's a toss up for which one, if they decide to stick with this one and go back to the V Mini for me.
I think honestly, Zimmy can just prove to be pretty well at chopping up territory here. You already commented on its bubble. I want to at least highlight that Toxic Mist, which is always good at sniffing out potential sharks like the carbons that have been prevalent across both of these games. But we are running out of time left in weapon select. No more time to yap, no more time left to analyze. Let's dive straight into the action and see what is left for this last game of the set here. I think that is, do we have Risk today sticking with their guns? And like you said, Turple is staying on the Zimmy here. It'll be good for just keeping the grounds, I think, whenever, say, Max Mix or Grace isn't there here, but it can also provide a good enough frontline assist to I think to Gillies on the carbon. And already there's a lot of paint coming out from Wyrmwind as they get the first zone. Gillies is going in for the intercept, able to get rid of Oxy, but the damage has been dealt. 2 members going down, or do we have Wrist? And now Wyrmwind is starting to close in on Elbow.
I mean, yeah, Gilly is getting a nice double kill. Wyrmwind capitalized that immediately. A bubble on the elbows does a lot of damage here, down to 70 points, forcing Ox to pop a Booyah Bomb to at least try to get something going here. Gilly's unfortunately going to go down. Wyrmwind going 2 members down. So now, do you have today great, good spots here? Zuka's going to be popped, looking for Grace, I think. Not quite able to get the pick. Grace staying alive, but not for long. But do we have today? Very, very fast. You see Maximus going down, but not without getting a trade. Booyah Bomb coming out as well, was sniffing out Gillies here, forcing them to jump away, and kind of like a flip of a switch. Do we have Risk in a very, very good spot here? PP Gangsta popping a really nice crab to kind of clear out Snipe is going to work out, or at least help to get their own carbon in, and the lead has been taken. Clear has been popped. Turbo's forced to jump away, and wow, look how fast things have changed for Do We Have Risk today, because now Wyrmwind are all kind of funneled into this into ramp, but maybe not, because Turtle is just, you know what, Mini's gonna mini.
Oh, this could, if Turtle can get the zone, that would have been the C9 of the century. But the paint from Do We Have Wrists are enough to get rid of Turtle. That's Gillies jumping though. Gillies going down. 071 here. The zone is in neutral. 071's going down. It's between Max Mix and the combined power of PP Gangsta and Riding. We're able to keep the zone yellow. Turtle's going down.
Turtle's dead.
And Gillies and Max Mix together.
It's so close.
Will they be able to flip the zone? It is a constant back and forth, but it's mostly yellow. PP Gangsta pops the crab, and that will be enough. And after a deadly amount of just neutral states here, thanks to that lockout from Do We Have Wrists, that'll be it to close out the set 2-1. Man.
I mean, what can I say? Wyrmwind, really, really strong start. They got 2 down. They got into ramp. They just did a lot right, I think, but I feel like they just didn't go far enough. And when they tried to, you know, push up like you do, they just went down immediately. And that kind of momentum is what Do We Have Risk today needed. Wyrmwind going 1, 2, 3 down and just flipping the switch with just a great lockout. Heck, they didn't get to zone to like 20, and that was from Turple doing a flank, which was really, really nice, by the way. They stalled it so well, but the rest of their team just couldn't find the picks that they needed to kind of support them. So Turple was just kind of out on the island by themselves. So it's very unfortunate there for Wyrmwind, but Do We Have Risk today? Hey, that's a strong one. Can't even lie. Very strong.
Yeah, I think they just had a lot more control on their end here, and I think that will be that. Like I said, that's enough to close out the set. I'm pretty sure, there it is. There's the next set. Eels and Escalators versus Somnia is coming up really soon because they said it's ready. I'm not sure if we'll take a break. Are we gonna maybe? Okay, you know what? We're not gonna be taking a break. We're gonna go straight into it. There is a preview of the maps at hand That's going to be Mako Zone's Tower Control Hagglefish Market, and the last piece of bread on the zone sandwich will be, if I remember correctly, I saw Umami Ruins here.
Yes, it's Umami Zones.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, but you know, I'm excited. I like. Okay. I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't really care for Mako Mart personally. Like, to me, it's like, okay, how do I describe this in the best way possible? It's like the green beans of of Splatoon 3, where it's like, I like it. Like, okay, I like it. It's good, but I won't go out of my way for it, if that makes sense. Like, it's not like it's not a showstopper in my mind, right? It's like, it's good. Like zones I like, clams I like, but it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just like, it's there, I like it, and that's all I can really say.
I mean, it's definite. Like, it is a, between all, I'd say all the zones maps here, it may be one of the ones that we see like less, but even still, it's a very popular zone map. It has all like the elevation that you'd want to maybe for good skill expression, especially on AoE weapons like buckets and blasters. They will have a grand old time here. Maybe even bows. Who knows if they'll bring out bows.
Ooh, but I believe that if this is the person, I believe Cursed Electric is a Dynamo 1 trick. So, you know, you were talking about elevations. I think Dynamo kind of really good on this map.
Okay.
It's just not a weapon you see very often, but hey, maybe it'll work.
Oh man, Dynamo can still, like, even if it's not seen that often here, never underestimate it here. The amount of pain control it can bring out here, just the sheer amount of damage it can put out with one swing here. I try to like push up to it. It is already halfway through its swing animation and picks me off anyways. And it can also be your cooler weapon. So, you know, there is that as well.
Yeah, and I think the cooler weapon would be very, very helpful here because, you know, Mako Mart is a very like scrappy map, is the best way I could put it. It's like there are gonna be a lot of fights, especially like, you know, right in front of the zone, in the alleyways, underneath the ledges, underneath the snipe ledges. So like, I think a cooler here, I think, is most likely guaranteed. I wouldn't be surprised. I would be surprised if or not both teams didn't ran cooler. So I think they're gonna stick with cooler. But I think Dynamo, it's just good on this map. You just paint the whole zone for free. Like,
do you just paint the whole zone for free? Doesn't it have sprinkler? So you can just paint more? I'm
not a Dynamo player, so I'm yeah. Okay, so I think the vanilla kit does have sprinkler, I want to say. And I think it's the gold kit has splat bomb.
Doesn't gold have splat booyah? Like splat bomb booyah?
Gold is splat bomb chumps.
Okay, I think I'm remembering its kit from 2, I think now. That's probably what.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, okay. But still, chumps can be good for assisting the front lines, and also, oh man, I hate to admit it, but I unironically I've started falling for chumps a lot more.
I mean, they're good. Like, they're a good special. It's just like you have to fight within the chumps. You have to actively like push with the chumps to throw off your enemies if you want to use them well. Because like if you don't fight with the chumps, then what are you doing? Because like it's literally a minefield. Like it's literally a minefield.
If your front lines don't really capitalize off of the chumps here, they're just kind of like a more meh version of like a Tenta missiles or a tri-strike here. So if you have skirmishy weapons, you know, like a Wiper, a Tetra, maybe even a Sploosh, they would definitely benefit. And that's the gold Dynamo. Chumps will be flying out, and
okay. Yeah, I like how we both had the same reaction, but yeah, not one you see very often. No, they fell off the map. Okay. Very unfortunate. Yeah, but yeah, the weapon you don't see very often as well, the dually squelchers as well, but so far Eels and Escalators, a very, very strong start, taking advantage of an unfortunate opportunity here. Now Curse, you know what, Dynamo, we were talking about the other weapons. Hey, sit on their ledges, just cover the entire snipe. What do you do about it? You have to basically like give up most space to this thing, because if you don't, you will just go down.
Yeah, you do not want to be going down to that Dynamo, but that being said, Guapa has gone down here. Addy was trying to contest the Octobrush. They go down, and now the Kraken is being sent into spawn to potentially get rid of the Squelchies. Not just yet. Meanwhile, the T-Tech on Insomnia has also gone down. Same thing with the Headed. No strikes, no cooler just yet here. And now Cursed is going down, and they're able to take down the Squelchies in one mighty swing. And they are already clearing their points en masse. They're already almost out of the 20 thresholds. They're now in the 10s. Guapa has a bubble ready to go, but they're 2 members down, and the specials from Insomnia are flying out en masse. Will this be enough to flip the zone? We're in single digits here, and now the rest of
Addy went down
are here, and wow, a 100-0.
I mean, what can I say? Dynamo paints the zone. Junior paints the zone. 96, underrated painter, paints the zone. The splash down, or not splash down, the blaster, very good at capitalizing on both the.
That's what painters do.
That's what painters do. Yeah, the blaster really good job of capitalizing on the burst bomb indirects, the dynamo sprinkles that hit people. 96 one shot, just really good. And I honestly just a solid game. Like, there's nothing more I can say. They played well, they got picks, they followed up on each other pretty decently, they kept the paint up, and that's really it.
Yeah, I think even when a lot of the key painters on Eels and Escalators, when they went down for a second here, maybe I think it was not the 90s, maybe the Junior as well as the Dynamo here, the Headed and the 96, or maybe the Headed and the Junior, they held the grounds in even amidst tri-strikes and the rest of Insomnia going in. They held their ground here, and their lead was just pushed that far in. And then next thing you know, the rest of Eels and Escalators, they came in like that one mercy gift right in the nick of time, and they secured the knockout. So game 1, Mako Marks, that's all said and done. Game 2 is now on the horizon. Hagglefish, we're back on Hagglefish.
Okay.
Sorry, Taco.
Okay. So this is vanilla bean ice cream. It's a little different. It's not as bland. There's some flavor to it. It's a little bit different. So this is tolerable.
Okay. I mean, well, I don't actually the whole vanilla ice cream the vanilla ice cream comparison makes sense. I think it really is just not water soup, but it's a really complete like it's a blank slate of maps in the modes that it plays with, not just zones, also tower here, but it also has a lot of interesting points to bring up, specifically once you start getting past checkpoint 1. You need to pay attention to the top right and make sure that you can contest that before the defending team does. Let's get into it. What are we seeing? That is a Jet Squelcher, and that is a Silver Dynamo on Eels and Escalators. The Squelchies are still there from Insomnia, but we're now seeing the Comet's Brush as well as the Prozen.
Yeah, you got the Fro Pro, Comet's Brush, and I believe, interesting. That's a lot of special charge up on the Jet Squelcher. I believe, is that the Rain one? I don't remember Jet Squelcher. Yeah, very interesting there. You know, that longer range option, I think, to, like you said, contest that top right side, be very helpful here. We're gonna see if they use that to advantage, but Guapa, very nice fall off shot onto Addy. But now, if you're Insomnia, you have a lot of range you have to deal with. Like, how do you break through this? Because if you don't, you see right here, Guapa on the right-hand side, just locking it down as best as they can. And when they try to attack him, you see right there, they get punished and forced to back away. And look how much space just taken over on this right-hand side. Moving left, Glitch is still there. They're going to go down. Guapa, the Jet Squelcher frontliner, why not?
I mean, I think one thing I may want to point out as we're starting to go to the first checkpoint right now, I think Eels and Escalators are starting to take a little bit less paint in this. We're now sporting 2 blasters, and I think Curse is going to have to put a lot of paint onto their backs, but Dynamo could just be the answer for it here. And they're just poking at Glitch from the tower, not even as it goes on. And here's a Booyah Bomb being charged from the S-Blast. The Custom Blaster, unfortunately, going down, but they have cleared that first checkpoint, and now they're starting to go. Blast is in the top right, dropping down, and they are at the second checkpoint here. That's already some very solid numbers being put up by Eels and Escalators.
I mean, yeah, like the second checkpoint would be really, really good no matter where you are. But you see, they're still putting a lot of pressure. Splash up coming out on that top right, kind of clear out stream. They're not quite able to do just that. But Eels Escalators just, I think this double blaster is like very, very helpful in keeping them back. But they do kind of lack in paint, like you said. So it's mainly going to be up to Curse to paint. Now that they're going to go down. Fortunately, though, the S-Blast able to keep it up, at least with the kills, to at least keep them in. The double blaster working out. Stream gonna go down. Glitch staying alive for a second, but not for long. Booyah Bombs at the ready as well. So Ink's nice direct as well. But so Ink Somnia just, they had the opportunity there when Eels Escalators went 2 members down, but Eels Escalators, they just really recovered quickly. And you see right there, the range coming out, Splashdowns out as well, and that second checkpoint's gone, maybe the third checkpoint as well, because you see Kirk just dancing on tower, staying alive. Someone else can get on it, but Ink Somnia just really trying their best to kind of do some damage control at this point, but Eels Escalators are just jumping in again and again, just overwhelming pressure is working out for them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the damage that has been dealt by Eels and Escalators over the past couple of minutes has just been a lot, and Somnia needs to catch up real hard here, practically go for a knockout because of how far Eels and Escalators have pushed and probably will keep pushing here. Curse is already throwing a cooler down. It's starting to formulate here. They're starting to back up a bit here. They're starting to wane in their positionings. The S-Blast has gone down, but they're just still there. They're still there.
Yeah, they're still there. You see them trying to at least push them back. It's not going to work. The Splashdowns able to get that one, but able to at least play a little bit of cleanup. But Ink Somnia has been trying their best to get out of their base, but they've just been stuck. It feels like they haven't really been able to do a whole lot. This double blaster, this cooler is just doing so much damage or so much work for Eels Escalators. They just keep up this pressure and just keep it going as long as possible. You see them spawn camping with 2 blasters, not something you see every single game. We're a minute left in this game, and Eels Escalators are just keeping Ink Somnia in their base. Ink Somnia has yet to score. 2 members are going to go down. Glitch goes down to a splashdown. I think Stream goes down to Rain. 3 members down, so even in the best case scenario, there's a wipeout. But for Eels and Escalators, Ink Somnia's are all down. They're just keeping it up. At this point, they're keeping it up.
Yeah. They're still there. I've been saying this topic, and I think we're seeing the S-Blast in a little bit of a pickle here. Zach is trying to jump into them. They don't have Splashdown to counteract this. It is right now only Cursed, and I don't know where Guapa is right now, but they're dancing on the tower pole as well around the cooler. They don't push it any further, but I think the key damage that is being dealt is that the tower was still in Ink Somnia's side of the map, which means they need to make the push work from their end of the map onto Eels and Escalators' end of the map in overtime, and the odds are starting to stack on Ink Somnia's end. They have to pull off a Hail Mary, and already their members are going down. Adding is cornered. The Dynamo's gone down, but that doesn't matter because Guapa's gonna get the last pick to close out the set 2-1.
Okay, 2-0. I'm pretty sure that lock or that push lasted like 4 minutes.
Or
that was a nice fist bump too. Like, I believe they started pushing at, I wanted like 450. I want to say they were there until like 30 seconds left in the game. So technically, it was like a 4 minute and 30 second. It was like a 4:30 push. Most of the game was spent not on Ink Somnia's side, but in Ink Somnia's base on the top right side in their plat area. That was just a really, really, really dominant game all around. I mean, yes, Eels and Escalators didn't quite knock it out, but with how much time was wasted, for how much resources you made them use, I don't think you really care if you got the knockout. You just kind of steamrolled them. Best way I could put it.
I mean, yeah, like, like even when you kind of don't have a lot of paints here, the sheer paint output that Cursed brought to the table with how they played Dynamo, just constantly on that stalwart positioning, making sure that they could secure the jumps in for Guapa and for the two blasters on the team, just constantly ensuring that there are constant pressure and a constant like pain in the back that you have to get rid of, lest you get ledged, lest you get AoE'd, lest you get somehow go down to rain. So that is the set going to Eels and Escalators, and now round 3 is already prepped and ready to go. We've got Sea Lanterns and Los Inklings in pools round 3 with Mahi Mahi zones, and that was the only map I saw before we go into it.
I mean, wow, they're very both these teams. You know what? Thank you, teams, for being ready to go right away. So yeah, like you said, Sea Lanterns, Los Inklings, Weekly Warriors. They're always here. Guess what? Another week, another Los Inklings appearance. You know what? We like them for that.
Yeah, you know what? Another Los Inklings appearance. Wonderful to see. Sea Lanterns are also here as well. Temp, A-Doctor, Flat Osprey, Party Squid. Can't wait to see him as well. And wow. Oh, we've been going pretty quickly here. We're pretty efficient SOS streak to start off the year.
You know what? I like to see that. You know, this is how we're gonna do. This is how every SOS team is gonna be. No issues, no problems, just smooth. One to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. But of course, we're on that second next, as we're gonna go to game number 1, Mahi Mahi Resort Splat Zones, which I like. Okay, I think it's very common or very shared sentiment, but this map gets a lot better once that water level drops.
I mean, of course, because that way, just the skirmishers, the front lines, even the paint supports just have a lot more space to work around here. You're not necessarily worrying about making tricky jumps to avoid falling into water and then becoming a part of a Blue Sky or Twitter.com clip. So you just probably want to ensure that you can get to that 60-point threshold. That way the water level can drop and then the map can expand more. We can start going into one-way drops here. You can start ledging. You can start pressuring out in more unique ways here. As for the rest of the set, Humpback, Shipshape, man, if I wasn't commentating and playing with my team, I would have been going for a generational run, and then I get 3-0'd. And then I get 2-0'd.
Yeah, you know, I love Humpback. It's very good, very underrated, very overhated. It's just it's a good map. It's a good map. You don't see the vision. Yeah, it's a very good map.
Yeah, like I just
Shipshape. I don't know about Shipshape. That we have a discussion about, but Humpback is good.
That Shipshape zones, that's right here. Me and my team usually like doing a lot of Shipshape Tower. It still is Lockout City no matter the mode here, but I think Shipshape Tower, I think I like playing on that a lot here. But we're not gonna get to that just yet here. Splat Zones Mahi is gonna be the upcoming one, and I don't know why, but knowing that Los Inklings are here, what reflux is Hemi bringing to the table? Because man, I just feel like he's been playing a lot of like the milk reflux, or as he calls it, the B-flux.
It's okay. What? It's not B-flux, but yeah, I do.
That's what Hemi calls it.
Okay, but he's wrong. Anyway, like it, I'm pretty sure he's the milk reflux one trick, which it makes sense. Like it's zones. It's nice. You have the Booyah Bomb. You have the torpedo. I believe Teresa is a brush player or roller. No, heavy. My bad. I was thinking the wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think it's a Splatling. I'm pretty sure it's a Splatling.
Yeah. That could be very helpful. You know, some chip damage could be very nice for some nice combos. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the Milklux.
Yeah, that is Booyah Bomb, which is going to be helpful for painting the zone. Torp, also good to assist the front lines of the team. I think that's either Equals or Slug. I think it's it's probably Slug. I think it's Slug because I think Slug plays the roller on Los Inklings. So having the Torp as well as the Booyah Bomb, good for scouting, good for painting.
Yeah, and I don't know a lot about Sea Lanterns, but I'm excited to see what they bring to the table. Looking quickly through their their little Sendo Q bios, looks like they have a shot player, a stamper, which is very interesting, a charger, so we could see our first pencil of the night. of the first pencil of the year. Interesting, and they have looks like a mini player. So, I'm interested to see what they decide to pull out for this one.
Honestly, I feel like I just feel like mini stocks may just be on the come up here. And like ever since probably like a couple months ago, maybe I've just been seeing a lot more minis out there, and that could be really very amazing to see. That's leader. That's the first leader.
That's leader.
That's first leader of 2026, and that is that's the vanilla reflux out from Hammy. Teresa is going to be on the vanilla mini. Slug's on a vanilla roller. Eagles is on a vanilla shot. Oh yeah, heavy. Yeah, all vanillas coming from Los Inklings today.
Yeah, very vanilla, kind of like Hagglefish, but not like Hagglefish. Los Inklings doing a lot of damage right away, saying, hey, we don't care about your front line. We're going straight in with Equals and Hammy, or Equals and Slug, sorry, doing a lot of damage early, just kind of bouncing around this mid area. Slug with a very aggressive bubble, just harassing one of the members of Sea Lanterns as best as they can. Unfortunately, two members of Los Inklings are going to go down, so they are going to be spotted out and forced to jump back, but that's a really good start. You got Hammy, unfortunately goes down, but you got the wall of the drop. You got down to 44 points. You'll take that any day of the week. But now, Sea Lanterns, if you're Los Inklings, I'm looking at that leader. I want that E-leader gone, and I think those missiles will be very helpful for them.
Definitely so here, as long as Hammy can get those charged up, but maybe not even missiles are needed, maybe even just the Zuka, and that is 10 missiles headed to flat. Very good timing to pop the zip in response here. They're trying to dive the back line here. They spot Teresa, but now they're being forced to jump out. That jump hasn't been camped just yet. The zone, however, is still blue, and it's only Osprey and Flats from Sea Lanterns as the rest of Sea Lanterns are starting to reinforce. The zone, however, still blue. Their penalty is almost expired. Slug has been dispatched, though. That could be a very solid start to a very fruitful push. Unless the Stamper goes down, they still have to keep this hold going. They still need to win this neutral.
I mean, yeah, they're trying their best. Sea Lanterns here. You see Doctor just dancing around those missiles, able to do so beautifully for a little bit while, but you see the missiles, you see the strikes coming out as well, but Los Inklings still just avoiding all that, holding on, even though they're two members down. 1-for-1's going to be worth it. Equals and Teresa going down. That's going to be a very unfortunate wipeout. So now, Sea Lantern, you have that Zipcaster at the ready. You're going to have the leader set up on that right-hand side for some very crucial angles there. So if you are Sea Lantern, this is your opportunity here to get a lot of damage. He's Zipcaster, Slug going down, very good start. Flat in the flank, not quite doing, but at least calling him out to their team, very helpful. Strikes as well, just doing a lot to kind of compound this push. It isn't going to work out for now, but Los Inklings though are able to kind of recenter themselves and just push back relatively quickly. So even though a lot of damage has been done, they still got lead.
Yeah, that is that is lead actually. They go past the 57 and push to not to 44 just yet. And I think Los Inklings are starting to count down once more. Slug has gone down, Flat has gone down, and now the zone is flipped in yellow here. It is still predominantly, not predominantly, there's still a little bit of blue, but right now it's only Hammy right now, and the rest of Sea Lanterns are starting to close in on Hammy's location. They're finally going down. Right now it's only Teresa, and now Osprey. Very key choice to go to the islands here. That's a really solid spot for your backline to be in here, because now you've got a leader sitting on islands. You want to get rid of that, or else that's just going to keep poking you. And there's the lead swap that Sea Lanterns probably wants to get here. Flat going down. Here comes the Brave Waker from Teresa, and it was counter Brave Waker coming out from Osprey. The missiles come out from Los Inklings as well here, but there's two members down. It's only Slug and Equals right now. Equals has gone down. Slug is in a very tricky situation. It's single digits. The GG strikes. This may just be it for Sea Lanterns, and that is a reverse knockout to take game one.
I mean, yeah, just solid from Sea Lanterns. You saw Los Inklings every time Sea Lanterns pushed, they did a really good job of coming in, but for Los Inklings, that last push, they all kind of clumped together at the very end and then went in one by one, if that makes sense. Because I think it was Slug went down first, you saw the missiles coming out from Hammy, then Equals went down, and then it just felt like Sea Lantern just picked them off one by one, leaving only Slug when they came back to just kind of bomb rush the zone. And unfortunately for everyone, as a roller, you're caught out. Probably not going to work out in your favor.
Exactly. I think like even when you have just all the positioning like locked down, even when you have your specials ready to go, whether or not that's the wave breaker or the Tenta missiles here, like I think Sea Lanterns just had the answers to that here. They just dispatched of priority targets very quickly here. They managed to evade all the important specials that Los Inklings was throwing out. So now they potentially got to win the next 2 games if they want to get this final match, this final set of groups down on their belts here. So Rainmaker, Humpback, Pump Track will be first.
Okay. Look. So I don't. Okay. I want to say I could see a lot changing. I see nothing changing at all, right? Like kind of both. Like I think for most part of stage, like I think E-Leader, while not the best in like the mid area, is good on the plat. So I think that stays for Sea Lanterns. For Los Inklings, we might see Hammy going over to the Reflux Deco or the Milk Lux. Either one. I don't see any of the 3 of them. They all work relatively well. Maybe flat changes, because I know from a lot of Stamper players that this map is not particularly favorable for you because of the changing elevation. So other than that, I don't really see a whole lot of changes coming from either side.
If there were a Stamper, like if they were to stick on a Stamper, I think stickers would be the choice to make here. Booyah Bomb could be good for just clearing out a lot of the really stally choke points that are just the name of the game on Humpback Pump Track here. Just breaking out of that first checkpoint here is going to be the really key thing that you need to do here. You need to make sure that you can get rid of enemy players on like that high ground spot here, and just make sure that you can have a very safe walkway to that final pedestal. What is in store for us for round 2, for game 2
round 3?
Round 3, S-Blast and Twinkie.
Okay. Whoa. Okay. Well, bringing out the big guns from Teresa, with the Hydra slug going over to the screen, Flingza, and the custom blaster from Equals. You know what? A lot of changes. I was dead wrong, and of course flat going to the S-Blast, but it doesn't even matter as they're going 3 down almost right away, screen on the elbow, and Los Inklings, really good start. Like you see, breaking that checkpoint in the first 30 seconds, looking to continue this going. You see all 4 of them in a really good spot, but you notice as Rainmaker, things can change in an instant, but Teresa just taking it and running, able to get down to 39 points. It's just Slug remaining left. They gotta hold on for as long as possible, stay alive, able to get party with the very last of their intake and jump out. But Los Inklings, a very quick strike.
And not just that here, just want to comment on comp changes once again. I think the only weapon that has stayed the same from last game is Doctor on the T-Tech here. And they're making very good use of just the maneuverability of it all here, getting rid of 3 members of Los Inklings together with the Sea Lanterns here. The strikes come out, the Rainmaker has slammed into the pedestal here. And now I think this could be the moment for Sea Lanterns to go in. However, there is no specials here. The team is going to have to get rid of Los Inklings with their guns and their wits. But right now, Slug has something to say about that.
That's a triple.
They have a roller and they...
Oh, no. Oh, the Booyah Bomb.
No, they are able to get
one.
But they're outnumbered. They do jump out thanks to the cooler buff. And one last thing before I switch it to you, Topic. Hammy is on the Milk Lux.
Yeah, the Milk Lux is out, but you see a flank, I believe, on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, Party is going to go down. Hammy looking for the second one, not quite able to, as Doctor able to clean it up. And Sea Lanterns, despite going down there, even though they did get wiped out, very good use of that cooler, taking that fight. Even though you did lose, guess what? Like, nothing happened. You're back in, there's a good spot. But I'm worried about Teresa there on that top side with that Booyah Bomb as well, because that Hydra is literally a walking Gatling gun, right? So you have to displace them if you want to get any closer on plat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you can get rid of that, whether or not it's with strikes or with the AoE damage from the S-Blast here, that'll be a key move. Or it could be the Booyah Bomb coming out from the S-Blast as well, but they're throwing it down to potentially move forward, but no. And that's Teresa's Hydra raining down Hellfire and stopping this push right before Sea Lanterns could break into the 30 threshold that Los Inklings has the lead at. Doctor is still here, but Hammy is picking up the Rainmaker here. That zipline is not ready to go, but they drop it down right side, and they get caught out by Osprey here, dropping it into the left side of Sea Lanterns mid right now.
Yeah, Osprey is going to be there. Teresa popping the Booyah Bomb on the Rainmaker at the very least. At least stall it. They would have picked it up, and at least, even though they did go down, at least getting the shield back up is very, very helpful here as we have 2 minutes left in the game. So Sea Lantern States have a lot of time still to work with, and Rainmaker things can change in an instant. But Sea Lanterns, I feel like ever since Los Inklings had that first push, they really haven't been able to get back into mid. Yes, they've won fights. Yes, they've been they had the advantage at times, but it just feels like you see right here, it's always been Sea Lantern's color. It's always been their advantage here. Booyah Bomb plus the bubble plus the strikes is gonna help get that elbow. Not a whole lot more, but the lead will be taken by Doctor by 1 point. So now, if you're Los Inklings, you have to go at this point. Like, you spent most of this game on defense. They got to translate that into offense some way, somehow.
I was going to say, like, with the amount of time Sea Lantern has spent on the offense, I felt like it was only a matter of time until they get the lead. And whoa, Teresa just gets shot in the back by the dually player here. And now Flat is moving in with the S-Blast and a Blaster duel that they win against Equals here. The bubble was mostly blue, courtesy of Hammy, but right now the rest of Sea Lanterns are closing in on that Rainmaker bubble and are ready to perhaps pick it up and start a stall with 47 seconds left on the clock here. Already Party's gone down.
Oh, that's a good start.
The Booyah Bomb has been popped by Hammy. There's 40 seconds left on the clock, and now the Rainmaker has been picked up by Hammy. The strikes come out from Doctor. Equals and Slug have moved in, and both of them have gone down. Hammy is able to get rid of the S-Blast, but Party's on the flank, and now
Party on the flank.
That is the pincer that Sea Lanterns needed to stop this push from happening. There's 20 seconds left on the clock. Sea Lanterns needs to stall just for that long.
I mean, yeah, they're doing what you need to. They're painting up that the Rainmaker shield, not popping it, making Los Inklings spend a lot of time, a lot of resources on that as well. 10 seconds remaining. No cooler. The bubble is going to be popped out. Equals not quite to get the pick by Hammy. It's just going to run it behind the screen. 1 point short. Teresa's going to pop the Booyah Bomb. And unfortunately, a second too late, an inch too short. Los Inklings are not able to get there, and Sea Lanterns, despite going 3 members down at the very end, are able to hold on by the absolute thinnest of thin margins.
I think thanks with this extremely close win plus the reverse knockout on Mahi Mahi, we are not going to be seeing ship-shaped cargo co-zones, as that is a 2-0 set win from Sea Lanterns here. That's a very decisive set win for them, as they are now headed to Mako, as Los Inklings are headed to Lantern brackets. And that is a very timely end to group stage here, right before 9 o'clock Eastern time. What a game topic. I think I really understand what I think Los Inklings were going to do there. I think Hammy was trying to run in through the screen here, and then Teresa popping the Booyah Bomb. They hope in a last ditch effort to not only get the Rainmaker bubble popped, but also to get Ink on the ground. If there was just a couple of seconds left on the clock, that would have been, I think, the game for them actually.
Yeah, and I feel like there had for that second game, it felt like Los Inklings, they were a step too slow. And I think that ultimately came down to the choice of the backliner of each, right? Because we saw that that Sea Lanterns, they had that heavy edit, so they were able to move a lot quicker. They were able to move a lot with a lot more what's the word? A lot more like decisiveness, so I could put it. Like, they were able to make these quick decisions. Meanwhile, you had Teresa on the backliner, which, yes, is very good, very solid, but it really struggles with pushing because it takes so long. And even if you decide to pick it up with the Rainmaker, or pick up the Rainmaker as a Hydra, you still have that penalty when you move, right? So I think it was just Sea Lanterns that overwhelmingly aggressive playstyle did work at the end, because early on, Los Inklings, it was 39-0 in the first 30 seconds or first 40 seconds of the game, and then from then on, they were stuck on their side, they were stuck on their elbow, they were stuck on their plat for what felt like 3.5 minutes of the game.
Exactly. I think like you said earlier in the middle of the match topic, I think Los Inklings have just been on defense just for the better, at least like the better half of that match here. And then I said that it was just only a matter of time until Sea Lanterns got that lead here. They were just constantly coming back for more. They kept throwing their specials out, kept contesting elbow here, even if they couldn't find a way to get rid of Teresa on the high ground here. I think Teresa eventually dropped down to low ground, and I think then that was probably go time for Sea Lanterns here. They just barely made it to 38, which was of course just enough to get that lead. And then I think there was basically 1 minute 20 seconds left on the clock for Los Inklings to go, and then I think that's when maybe a little bit of panic starts settling in for Los Inklings here. And then you have to, one, make it out of mid after you're trying to do a little bit of stalling here, and then make it through elbow, then basically do what Sea Lanterns did to you.
Yeah, just very unfortunate for Los Inklings, but very, very fortunate for Sea Lanterns. But with that, that'll be it for round 3. And actually, that'll be it for groups for this edition of SOS. But don't go anywhere after a very quick break while we let these other teams, battle out, see who makes Great White, see who makes Hammerhead. We're going to take a very short break, and we'll be back to you with with the Great White bracket of SOS in a couple minutes.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your very little break as we are back with SOS 212, our great white bracket. I am Topic, joined once again by Frosty, and we have a very, very good matchup for you today. We have Chunky Milk versus Winner POV Makeover, and I am not joking. We had a good debate for like 5 minutes discussing what that profile picture is for Chunky Milk.
Yeah, according to their Sendo page, they simply just ask us all to say hi to Baldwin. And further context from Comrade says that Baldwin is a skinny pig. What's a skinny pig? It's so bald and wrinkly. Is that a bowl it's standing on? Are there dumplings in that bowl? Why is there a Sorella umbrella? Anyways, Chunky Milk consisting of Comrade, Blurb, Episto, and Term, and Winner POV Makeover consisting of Winner POV, Bobby, Theo, and Santo. And this will be the first round of Great White Bracket, which means the team that loses a set is unfortunately going to get knocked out of SOS and will sink. So this is now going to be starting to go for the marbles.
I mean, yeah, both these teams, they're ready and raring to go. And was that what I think it was? Hold on, wait. So we have Comrade on the V roller, and we have Breakdown with the arrow spray the RGPG MG, I don't care, one of the arrows, the silver one. But that's very interesting. They're not one you see very often, but hey, it is splat zones. It does paint a lot with those fizzies, with that arrow, with that resider. So might see one right here. Yup, there it is. Not quite able to get a pick, but just a lot of paint. And Winner POV, very, very strong start, especially with this double backline comp with Pencil and Rapid Pro Deco.
Yeah, so the RPD is trying to take a pretty aggressive front here. The cooler has now come out from Selena here, and the rest of Winner POV Makeover is going to get hydrated, ready to go. But here comes a stamp as well as an inkjet from Chunky Milk. Breakdown is going down, and it's only left to the backlines of Winner POV as the zone is now in neutral, and this bubble from Comrade is going to allow them to start painting this over, and that's the flip that Chunky Milk definitely wants to get going. And now Comrade is moving in alongside that Sorella umbrella that Baldwin was holding. And now that is going to be the hold for them. An immediate flip from Breakdown is going to give them 17 penalty points, but that's not going to stop them just yet.
I mean, yeah, that reset did do a lot to flip this zone, but not a whole lot else, because Chunky Milk, they just responded rather quickly. But Selena with a very nice pick here. Another one going down as well. 2 members down for the side of Chunky Milk. Going to see Winner's POV try to push forward here, which they are going to do successfully. Bobby, a nice bubble there, and getting the inkjet on top of that. Very, very clutch there. But you see, the Resider is ready. So Chunky Milk, if they decide to push in, that Resider will be there instantly.
No, it's not. It's gone. It's
yes,
gone.
No, it's not. It's there. It's right there.
Okay, it's right there. Breakdown had the cooler buff. Me when I lie. Anyways, that reef slide.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
For Comrade. Very unfortunate. Canceling out the bubble, I feel, and will allow Winner POV Makeover to still hold this lead. There's 2 down on Chunky Milk Term, and also the mini is going down. They're still left. They have a Sorella umbrella special. I don't really remember what it is off the top of my head. But now they need to start going. The inkjet does come out, and they need to make it count because they need to flip the zone fast, or it's going to be a knockout for a Winner POV Makeover. Comrade is closing.
Oh, Comrade's trying. No, the reef.
Breakdown comes with the slider. Not even to flip it, just to push them off it. And that is going to be game 1, going to Winner POV Makeover.
I mean, hey, so far, their name's not lying. There's a Winner POV. But I think what really helped them out was the double backline. Because as we said earlier, this is a very, run at you, vanilla ice cream type of map, right? So you only really have one option or one way to push. So I think both having the pencil alongside that rapid, and I think this is the second time we've seen double blaster and it worked out. So that's very interesting there. But I think having those 2 longer range weapons does really help out, because now you're kind of both funneling them towards both Bobby, the vanilla blaster, and of course Breakdown with the arrow spray, just with the timely reef sliders all the time. I think they got 4 or 5 reef slider kills from that entire game. That was a lot of damage to Chunky Milk.
Very proactive arrow spray action coming out courtesy of Breakdown here. Not just they're not just going for the slider recharge spam gameplay loop. They're also trying to go in, make use of at least make use of its fire rate to at least chip down and maybe also secure picks onto Chunky Milk. Going now into game number 2. This feels like I feel like we've been here before. Going from Hagglefish. Yeah, this was set 1. This was round 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this we're going in once again from Hagglefish zones into Umami Clamps, and coming off of this win, I feel like Winner POV Makeover won. But I feel like there's a case for them staying on this. Slider can be good for just getting that push going in, and if they can also just do some pretty solid poking with those 2 backlines.
I mean, if they can get on silo or top mid with that Rapid Blaster, maybe, but I believe for Chunky Milk, that's a really big switch up there. Going over to the recycled Brella, the bubble one, so that's interesting there. And Combat going over to the carbon roller, so yeah, a lot more of an aggressive type of weapon there, and a mini as well. A lot of changes. No, mini stayed, my bad. Mini was still there, but a lot of different changes here for Chunky Milk, and so far it's proving to work out. They're gonna get the first 2 members down of Winner POV and try to push forward, but Bobby there, a lot of damage with the blaster. Nice job getting one comment, able to clean it up. 2 members going to go down for Winner POV. So now if you're Chunky Milk, you're in a good spot here. You have the clams building up, but you have to be really, really worried here of both that Rapid Blaster and that pencil and the regular blaster just being able to do a lot of chip damage onto you, because you did get the first score, but not a lot of follow-up. You got 1 clam and that's really it. So basically, you just gave Winner POV a free power clam.
Exactly. Follow-up after a push is very key and just as important as executing a push. Here comes a hammer throw from Gaming, getting rid of Selena, which then gets traded out by VVS Youngboy, who then gets traded out by Episto, and it's just constant back-to-back picks back into neutral here. And that is, I think, the Bella going down, Comrade able to get rid of Bobby. The Reef Slider is ready to go on Breakdown. It's coming out here, getting rid of the mini. Episto's gone down to Selena, and a pencil trade here. Term needs to definitely back off, especially if you don't have the shield, and keep the space that you have right now, lest you lose it more and more to Winner POV Makeover here. And Chunky Milk has 2 specials ready to go already. I hear Azuka being primed by Comrade. VVS Youngboy is now going down to Term, who then goes down to Bobby. Just constant trades here, and it's good to know that the teams are at least there to coordinate, and all are there to back up on each other in case something goes wrong. And I think already Chunky Milk was about to have a power clam ready to go, but Breakdown Slider says no to that.
I mean, yeah, great job by the side, just breaking through that somewhat impenetrable defense from Chunky Milk here. Term trying to go in with this Sorella or Recycle Brella, not quite able to get anything going there, but now Winner POV, they managed to get top mid, they managed to get the left-hand side, but can they get the clams? Because now they only have 7. Yes, they have a pity, but can they get any more than that? That's the question here. But Youngboy doing what they can, just trying to, get a lot of chip damage off as much as humanly possible to weaken the enemy here, just priming them for this breakdown. Reset is going to pop out at any second here, but they are able to get a score from Bobby, but nothing else. Chunky Milk, I feel like they did a really good job just kind of separating the members of Winner POV. Bobby went in, they got the power clam, but again, like we saw for Chunky Milk earlier, no follow-up. That's been the real killer from both these sides here. Even with a nice pick there, they have to at least wait a couple seconds before they score again, but it looks like there's gonna be pretty quickly here.
Yeah, they're definitely primed and ready to go. That's that first power clam coming in, and a lead has been taken by Winner POV Makeover. And wow, the clams are coming in non-stop from Winner POV, and now they're starting to want to back up, especially now that the rest of Chunky Milk are starting to respond here. VVS Youngboy securing the jumps in, and they are there. Bobby does go down, 3 going down. It's only Youngboy, and they go down. And I think with this could be the sign to go. Comrade throwing the first power clam in to break the barrier, but now 2 members going down. Someone just picked up the pity. They're going to jump. Term is not going to be able to get that second power clam in. Not able to take the lead just yet, and their lead remains at 62. It's very solid right now, but you just lost that power clam and are going to have to start building from scratch, as there is now 1 minute, 30 seconds left on the clock, and Winner POV Makeover has a very solid lead of 37.
I mean, yeah, we see right here, Winner POV trying to get a little bit more, but Breakdown just getting surrounded. They are going to go down, forcing the other two members to back up at least for now. But you see right here, Chunky Milk, they do have that bubble if they get in position, and they do have that Zuka as well to start a good fight. But Youngboy with a nice pick there, 2 going down for the side. No Zuka is going to be there. Youngboy staying alive. Nice helping there from a teammate as well. A minute to go left in this game. If you're winner POV, your main job is to just not go down. Your job is to at least get as many traits as possible. These specials are coming out, able to get to, not quite able to get that third. Selena staying alive for just a little bit longer, giving at least Bobby the chance to jump back in and get into a good spot here to kind of stall out Chunky Milk, because right now they don't have enough clans to take lead. Yes, they can threaten it, they can't take it quite yet. So just stalling him out. Heck, even the Whale getting a kill on top of that, they're doing a great job. Matter of fact, I think that was what Breakdown in the back lines getting a jumper in there. So good from them.
I think if anything, they're poised to do it. There it is. A second power slam has hit the basket. I hit the first one of 2026, and they're still scoring. Breakdown pushing the lead to 14, and finally they go down to gaming here. And this is going to have to be one heck of a push for Chunky Milk if they want to get this lead back here. Overtime has now begun. A pistol is taking fire from Selena, and now the power clams are ready to go from Chunky Milk. They have the pity. No, a pistol has gone down.
Hammer's down. 3. It's just Comrade. Comrade's dead. Oh no.
Power clams. They had 3 power clams for a potential overtime push. That hammer throw from, I think, the mini was just barely coming out. But that just won't be enough because of that surprise second, because of just how dominant Winner POV Makeover has been the entire game.
I mean, yeah, they kind of set the pace the entire time. It worked out even at the very end there. It seemed like Chunky Milk, they had everything in place. They had the specials, they had the members, they had the space. They clumped up, and I believe they went down to I think one went down to a bomb, and then I believe it was Bobby on the blaster got a flank, got 2, and then that was all she wrote. So Winner POV, very, very nice from them. Just kind of collapsing at the very end. Even that surprise push they did just out of nowhere just went from a decent one to a really, really good game-winning push. So really nice job from them. And unfortunately, Chunky Milk, you and Baldwin are gonna be, it will be it for your first run of SOS for the year. But hey, you can't be that upset. You made Great White.
They make it a Great White here and put on a very, very solid show for our first set of the bracket. So now, Winner POV Makeover have their work cut out for them. They're going up against Seed 1 Usagi Fan Club. Good luck to you guys and the rest of everyone participating in the second half of SOS. But unfortunately, this is where our run for this block ends. Topic. The second set of casters are coming in. You will be hearing from Fusion and Keon in the rest of Great White. But before we disappear into the void, Topic, where can the good people of Twitch and YouTube chat, where can they find you?
Yeah, you can find me over mainly on Blue Sky at Topical2, on Discord at Topic_2, and you can find me in person at Don't Flounder at the Function on January 17th, a LAN in North Carolina ran by our very own Supera Jokera. Please show up. It'll be very, very fun, very, very cool. But Frosty, what about you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at TK_Frostix, at Blue Sky at frostix.bluesky.social. You could read my web novel Gap Year on Wattpad, and just like Topic, not necessarily, I won't be at Don't Flounder at the Function, but if you live in Canada or are willing to cross the border, I will be at Toronto Roca, which will be Toronto's first grassroots LAN. It is part of the LAN Championship Showdown here. It's going to be a one-day 44 tournament. If you're in the Toronto area or in Canada, come along. I'll be there. I'll be casting. But I think that'll be it from me in Topic. Like I said earlier, you're hearing from Keon and Fusion in the rest of Swimmer Sync. So don't go anywhere. Swimmer Sync has a lot more ahead of us.
See y'all next time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Swimmer Saint 212, the second half continuing on in the Great White Brackets, also the first one of 2026. My name is Killen, joining me is Fusion. Fusion, I would normally like to ask how are you, but in this case, both teams are pretty much geared up and ready to go, so I hope you're ready to go.
I'm ready to go. The question is, how is Ascension gonna contend with Count My Bands with only 2 players?
So the important question here, Fusion. I think you and I both know the Splatoon math here. You cannot come in with a field of 4. That's a problem. You cannot come in with 2. There is the other 2 players. Something seems off in the Matrix. I know we are literally just about to kick off the next round, so I guess we got to get ourselves back on the board and probably get ourselves all situated here. As we take a look here, yes, it is going to be Ascension on the Bravo side. Alpha side is going to count my bands. Fusion, what sticks out to you right away?
I mean, something that always is interesting to me is the Zinc Mini Splatling. Splatlings have definitely been a lot more popular in the meta as of recently, but also the Tetra Dualies. I know some Tetras who have a lot of fun on this map in particular. The corners are super nice to just roll over the edge, and you can move out of line of sight for a lot of weapons, but Count My Bands is going to come out swinging off to a strong early start, finding a pick, but unfortunately not quite able to find it. But Tetra going down, nothing new. It's par for the course.
Yeah, it's just an average day in Tetra land. I think that's the best way to phrase it there. It's going to be a really good early start, right, by the way, for Count My Bands. Ascension able to get the cap back onto the zone. It's going to be 90 points remaining and still counting down. 2 members have gone down from Count My Bands. It's going to be Cyrillit trying to push a little further here for Ascension, but it looks like they are going to be able to only paint as much as they could. Ascension trying to go for the lockout so far. 4 members are kind of jammed on the other side. Bank drops down there. It's going to lead to Ripping making the jump right in, but they are building themselves enough space. Not until the reslider from Illusion comes in. Fusion, it's already 51 points remaining, and Ascension does have the lead so far.
Yeah, they do have the lead. Ascension, though, does end up losing quite a bit of ground. It's a weird map to defend on for sure. Never really clear whether you're supposed to sit up top or drop to the bottom, and Ascension ended up kind of giving up some space there, dropped to the low ground, and it is going to bite them there, as that's a near full wipe and stagger coming out from Ascension. Count My Bands now in a prime position. They have that lead. They have some specials charging, but it's something I want to keep an eye out for is that splashdown, which can be very, very useful on defense. A custom blaster, I honestly haven't seen all that much. I saw it once earlier on stream, but very good defensive special.
Yeah, you always count on that triple splashdown to get not just zones back, but as you noted there, to a great defensive special that they can do there. Cyrillit, unfortunately, not enough range. Very tragically, not able to get that sprinkler. The sprinkler is over Zera. Zera is losing 0-2 to the sprinkler so far. It's just got to abandon on that mission. It's gonna have to probably wait for the other backlines to get rid of the sprinkler that's right up top, which I believe they finally did. With all the distraction in play, a very silly moment here in SOS. It is going to lead to the triple smash on only getting the neutral from Count My Band. But Ascension able to get the lead, able to get 3 members down. It's going to be a full-on lockout, pretty much the push needed here for Ascension to get this down to 0 points remaining, and the KO here is going to be Count My Band's last chance here in this map to see if they can get the cap, which they should be able to, with a flying reach slider into the zone. And Fusion, other than Cyrillit's inability to get the sprinkler, Ascension is able to get it down to 5 points remaining, and we're going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, they had a wonderful position for that lockout there. The bubble, 3 members ended up setting up inside it. Unfortunately, though, it seemed like they were not able to find that pick on the Tetra with the Reef Slider in time. I mean, I feel like they need to plan with that as a defense condition. If you want to knock out, you cannot let the Tetra into the zone. And Count My Band's already making them pay for that. That is going to be a wipeout, and now penalty is getting a little bit low on their side. They have some specials at that ready, including the Reef Slider, which could do some damage if too many members of Ascension end up dropping onto their plat, but it seems like it may end up being used defensively here as we head towards the final minute of the game. It seems like Count My Bands is still maintaining that control, Kyon.
Something that I noticed right away too is that Reef Slider from the Tetris being used just to even get a trade there, but to at least prolong this push a little bit more here from Count My BandZ. It's actually worked out really nice here because it is going to be bonk. Not enough ink left in the tank here. That Reef Slider being interesting is able to at least push Count My BandZ a little further backwards. And Fusion, for as fast as these teams wanted to run, Count My BandZ was the one that takes its home forward. It's going to be the 1-0 start for them in the best of 3.
Yeah, very strong showing for them. From them, it seemed like overall that Tetra did end up coming in clutch several times. The main reason they ended up recapping that zone towards the end, ending up crutching on it, ends up working out for them. Ascension kind of had they had a plan, and it felt like they kind of ended up scrambling during that last defense and were not quite able to block in time. But I mean, both of these teams seem fairly evenly matched in that first game. It seems, if I'm going to be like honest, it felt like that game was a little bit unusual for Zone's Robo Ramen. I feel like there's usually a lot of stalling on Zone Robo. There was almost no fighting occurring in the zone of this map. It was all around the sides, which is very interesting, considering like. I think it's just quite interesting, considering how these teams approached a map like that with such a big flat area in the middle of it.
What's kind of intriguing, to add to your point too, it kind of feels like they're trying to aim for a lot of fights close to the enemy's base a lot of the time whenever they get in the zone. I appreciate a good play where you can get a solid walkout position from the get-go, and you're gonna be able to get away with a big advantage. A lot of times when those fights end up going there, you get Illusion flying up the Reef Slider and just get the zones capped in their direction. It's going to require a lot more special coordination from Ascension to make that, to pretty much neutralize it, which they weren't able to. And I feel like this has been a very evenly matched game so far here, Fusion. Now that we've gotten through Zone's Robo Ramen, it gives us some time to breathe here, coming into Inkblot Art Academy Tower Control here for this second map. I think personally, Fusion, even in SOS, I still want I would love to see another back and forth map coming up.
Yeah, and I have a suspicion we're going to be seeing some of that. Timer keeps ticking if nobody makes a move in zones, but you need to actively keep up that pressure here on tower control. We're going to be seeing, wow, okay, interesting. 2 Luna Blasters. Maybe not what I was expecting. But that's very interesting coming out. I can see how Luna could be very useful around these corners, but unfortunately, it's surprising to me because there's a weapon that is a part-time Luna Blaster, part-time like Rapid Blaster in the game. So it's very cool to see. We'll have to see whether these players are going to be able to make the most of their kits so far. But so far, it seems like Bonk was kind of just eating the entirety of Count My BandZ and creates a huge opening for Ascension.
You know, Ascension is able to win out the duel of all the flavors of Luna Blaster Fusion. If you for some reason printed out a bingo card in SOS, of all flavors of Luna Blaster, it was the vanilla one with that zip caster, which I feel like that Luna Blaster never gets airtime. Apparently they're able to make the most of it. I know it's just the main weapon that is the main focus. They're actually using the zip caster right now, and even more so, the 3-0 down situation already. Ascension's already past the second checkpoint, less than a minute into the game. Residence is using that pencil to paint as much as they can. Bubble's pretty much going to be used on the tower there. They get the pick onto JoJo, and Bonk's just flying across the map. Is this just going to be a straight one-push victory here? It does not look like it will be the case. Count My BandZ has put the end to that push. 3 minutes and 37 seconds left, Fusion, and 3 checkpoints have been cleared from Ascension.
Yeah, that's certainly massive. We usually see quite a holdup at that second checkpoint, but Pencil was so free to just continue riding the tower thanks to all the pressure that Ascension had up in the enemy bats. I mean, Residence was just able to sit there, get their specials, and even that bubble from Rippin came out on tower while Bank was able to clean up shop along with the Luna Blaster. So you couldn't have put it together any better for Ascension, but Count My BandZ certainly not out of it at this point. We know how snowbally this map can be, and it seems like we're going to be seeing that snowball get started yet again. Count My BandZ this time is in the driver's seat, and will they be able to put up pressure to contend with Ascension, Kyon?
I think that's going to be the question. I saw the vision with the Reef Slider there right away from the illusion, but they're not able to get anybody, I think, cut just a bit short from where the ramp meets the top. And that's kind of how we see that push get solved, because it was basically illusion that was left like a sitting duck on that push. So Count My BandZ was only cut short there, but he did clear the first checkpoint, if anything, for Count My BandZ. Now you're gonna have to see a little bit of blaster on blaster crime there, as Love was able to get the pick onto Cerulet at the very least. But now where is the additional push? Coming from it is a Zuka versus the Ultra Stamp, and the Ultra Stamp wins. Fusion, you do not take a Zuka into a hammer match apparently, as the Count My BandZ is able to ride this one past the second checkpoint. Might be so here soon, yes. And around 2 minutes and 4 seconds in, both two checkpoints have been cleared from both sides, and now we can see illusion, and now Count My BandZ trying to see if they can turn this one on its head here. 2 members have gone down. This is gonna be a prime opportunity here for Count My BandZ to make the most of it. The third checkpoint in, the delayed wipeout effectively is the play, and it's the third checkpoint. This should be the KO, unless there's a huge stop of ripping and Cerulet, and there is the stop there. Illusion just flies in with the Regal Slider. That's not gonna be the case. Fusion, I know I said I was hoping for a back and forth matchup. This might be one of the most back and forth matchups we're having. It's a 6-4 difference, and Ascension somehow holds the lead.
Where did they even come from? Was that like a post-mortem jump? Because I don't know how they managed to jump there, because they got wiped out. I guess they got wiped out after. No. I don't know how they got the jump off there, but it certainly came just in the nick of time. My goodness, just dropping some deadly close quarters weapons right onto the towers, able to save the game for Ascension. And now with a minute left, they are still in the driver's seat, albeit it's a little bit shakier of a position than they had at the start. That said, they do have plenty of tools they can use to defend come overtime. We'll have to see whether they're going to opt for that, as Count My BandZ seems to be piling on, just continually continuing the offensive onto their plat there. And yeah, here they are gearing up for yet another push. Is Ascension going to just throw everything at the tower at once come that second checkpoint, or will they be just trickling in? That may be what decides this game, Kyon, heading into the final 25 seconds.
Final 25 seconds, 2 members already down. It's just gonna be Bonk and the Pencil pretty much alive here. Ultra Stamp being tossed into the left-hand side of the map, and it is gonna be the 2 members that drop. It's JoJo and the rest of the crew there. Ripping is still alive. It's South Cerulet there. The ring runs over for you, and that's the wipeout. That's basically the KO coming into the lead on top of it, and the wipeout is pretty much securing. Count My BandZ taking the 2-0 finish there in this one. I know of all the things to see here in a back and forth matchup, this was definitely one where Count My BandZ, despite the very shaky start to the game, they pretty much met up to the task. That was kind of beautiful. Also, a lot of clutch plays from Ascension, but Count My BandZ came out of the better end of it. Fusion.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that was such an intense back and forth game, but. My goodness, yeah. Count My BandZ did a great job keeping their composure going towards the end of the game. We saw the defense coming out the bats. The Carbon was nearly able to make it to the tower. Actually, they did make it to the tower, as did that Luna Blaster, but Count My BandZ had the specials in the tank. You know that the enemy team is going to have to dive that tower. Count My BandZ just waited for it and acted when the moment was right. So they're going to be coming out victorious in this best of 3, moving on to semi-finals, where they'll be facing Usagi Fan Club. We still have some a bit of a hold up in the bottom half of the bracket, but it should be very interesting to see who's going to fight, who's going to end up fighting them excuse me. It should be very interesting to see like who's going to come out of the bottom half of the bracket, because we have some very interesting players, including duck testing, which seems to be a duck motif pickup.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say there are some very intriguing teams on the board that I was taking note about, especially duck testing, as you know, being the duck motif pickup being one of them, and they were up against Waypoint, pretty much a personal favorite team there. Waypoint not able to seal that one, but I'm gonna be intrigued to see which team is gonna take on duck testing on the bottom side of this bracket here. And apparently we are still waiting on one match, which is still 1-1 here. So we got plenty of time, from so to say here. Well, we have a lot of time, because I'm not sure what's going on with Ditto versus Chili CBR Quesadillas, to say the least. But all we can infer is that it is a 1-1 tie. Maybe the Splatoon gods don't like Ditto as a Pokemon. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Maybe there's a better choice out there. But whatever the case may be, Fusion. It looks like that's the matchup that we're still waiting on. I guess now that we got ourselves a break here, Fusion, how are you doing now that we're out of the rush from the start?
I'm doing pretty good. Things have been all over the place, doing a lot of planning for Sea Battle, which is coming up towards the end of the month, as well as a potential next event, but we'll have to wait and see for that. So I've definitely got myself pretty busy with things going on right now. How about you, Kyon? Things all right?
Things are all right coming into the New Year's there. I am basically heading to another out-of-state land for me. I did get to hang out with y'all at Sea Battle a couple months ago. Y'all put on an amazing show. I'll disclose the land here at the end, but I'll be traveling to another one later on. So that will be fun. I'm in on a land kick recently. I'll just say that much. But yeah, no, everything's good. I got orange juice instead of the drink I'm used to having, but it's also late at night, so I'd rather not keep myself awake if I can help it, to say the least, Fusion.
Yeah, a little bit late at night for the coffee. Although sometimes it's never too late. I don't know. I feel like it's not an intolerance, but like I could have it whenever until I have too much, and at which point the horrors start to emerge. But that's not tonight. There's a lot of people that I recognize in this top cut though. A lot of friends and people who've been in the community for a long time, which is very cool.
I was taking notice to Waypoint there, and the only reason why is because Wings is on that team. Wings, Wings, a great friend of mine's, especially. I think they're actually. Oh yeah. I thought for some reason they were a TO. I think they're just traveling to Don't Flounder, which I think is going to be coming up later in the month. At some point. By the way, Wings is an amazing person out there, dude. You should smash the follow button. Also, great bow enthusiast if you're into bow weaponry shenanigans. There, of course, duck testing is the other team, as you mentioned before, the duck motif pickup, which I jokingly said it a couple months ago in another cast. It was a splat chat for Beep. Was duck motif pretty much won the Iron Man award for having a crazy run of tournaments. They just decided to participate in each week during the fall season. That was my award to them. Yaddle Toddle, I think, was another team that's in there. But Fusion, any other team that you may have recognized from this top cut?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people I recognize. If you look at Raise the Line, that is Gabe, Westy, Ali, and Pika, as well as Fit Tan, Tufa, Haiku, and Mia have certainly seen a lot of them around before. Friends with some of the people on Raise the Line as well. I don't know. I feel like it's so many familiar faces. I mean, Yaddle Toodle did not make it, defeated by Raise the Line, but they've been around since like the dawn of time as well. It's great to see. I feel like there's been some renewed interest in the game, especially with. I don't know if anyone saw or anyone was expecting the third kits when they did end up coming out, but I feel like since then there's been a lot of interesting developments. The tourney scene is like much more competitive again. We've kind of seen like a changing of the guard a little bit in terms of like top teams. I think, I don't know, the meta's developed in interesting ways. The land scene's thriving. We're eating good. We're eating good, Kyo.
This is a great time to hop back into Splatoon 3 if you've been giving yourself a good break from it. For the people that were stuck in third kit, when is it coming? To your point, and then Splatoon just drops the surprise hammer on all of us. It just gives us a third kit. Some of them amazing. Some of them we kind of wish they workshopped back to Sheldon at some point down the road. But it's a great time. I know I mentioned before I traveled out to Sea Battle back in the Halloween weekend basically, and the land scene is just going nuts right now. New additional lands are popping up. Anarchy Nova and Don't Flounder are the two I'm thinking of right away. SoCal is getting a reboot as well from what I'm hearing too. So well, there's a lot of things to talk about, but Fusion, we can talk more about being sentimental about Splatoon or great things that are happening, because we have another matchup we gotta talk about here, Fusion. It is gonna be The team that we noted was the Duck Motif pick of Duck Testing. They're up against Ditto here. I do recognize one person being Ivy Wumi from Ditto here, but that is a matchup. And for those, by the way, who are just tuning in, this is another round 2 matchup from the bottom side of the bracket this time. So if you remember the first 2 maps being Ramen Zones and Inkblot Art Academy Target Control, rinse and repeat those map lists for this one.
Yeah, going to be seeing some more of the same. We'll perhaps see a little bit of a different dynamic. Something that I saw, BandZ was at the first C battle. BandZ, I think, is coming out to the next C battle as well, which is very cool. They're an extremely talented Charger player. I mean, we already know all of these players from their long histories and accolades playing the game, as well as members of Ditto on the other side. But Duck Motif has been doing some really, really interesting things with their team compositions. We've seen some actually Winter Rapid coming out from BandZ as well. They've been playing like an interesting mix of stuff. And I think a lot of teams have kind of defaulted to Pencil for a long, long time, but it's kind of, it's like been fine. It's like having the Zap on your team in Splatoon 2, I guess. It's like, yeah, it is just the glue, but it lets you do a lot of interesting things with your team comp. We've been seeing some of that. I mean, Red Shell's always on, or very frequently on, some kind of brush. Yeah, I love seeing Duck Motif play, just because you don't really know exactly what you're going to get from them, but it's always going to be aggressive.
I always love seeing Duck Motif in majority tournaments. SOS was one of them. I remember. I think we both did it. We both did a Duck Motif for Super Jump, I'm pretty sure, in the past. So it's always fun. It's always fun to just watch them again. I know aptly they're named Duck Testing here because they're taking on Kaden, which, if you remember Kaden, they were part of the Halcyon roster from. I think Halcyon participated in the NA League this past fall season too. So that's the 4th member rounding out this this 3/4 Duck Motif pickup. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see what at least this Duck Testing group. I would love to call you Duck Motif, but we gotta call you Duck Testing here. For this group, I want to see how much they do. Of course, Ditto being half of Honkai, and according to the other part of Sendu, which I had them open. Give me a hot second here. The half Honkai, half Trout population be the other team. That is pretty much what Ditto is. And surprisingly, Ditto is also not the Pokemon icon. I'm actually kind of pleased by this, of all things. That's what I'm noting. It's you know what, I'm always kind of amused. That just threw me off guard of all things here, Fusion. That's just kind of what I like. I just love to have their producer also knowing that it looks like a Chikawa there as well. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. This is what I get for not having enough knowledge here, Fusion. That's all I can say so far.
Wait, that's a Ditto?
It's nighttime. That's what I was realizing.
What do you mean that's a Ditto? That's just Chikawa. I don't know anything about Chikawa.
Don't worry, the producer's trolling us. Look, the producer's trolling us. I'm being completely caught off guard.
You got us good pipe dream.
Pipe dream, by the way, our producer completely got me, especially, Fusion.
Yeah, me too.
If it got you to, yeah, this is how tonight's gonna go for both of us. I think that's how it's gonna. There, we're gonna be going over the weapons. Let's review the map list here before I start to lose it here this evening. But again, for those tuning in, this is basically the same map list that we saw from the previous round. You have not missed anything. So we're back to Ramen Zones, and of course, game 2 being Inkblot Art Academy Target Control. I mean, Fusion, we saw Ramen Zones from the earlier set. A lot of back and forth fights happening towards the lockout area. Maybe we could see something different for this particular map. I also wouldn't be shocked if it goes off the beaten path and just fight around the zone of all things.
Yeah, I definitely expect to see a little bit more of that, just kind of the head-to-head fights that we've seen in the past. Some more like pencil versus pencil, just keeping each other at arm's length for a minute and a half. But we should see some interesting things going on, especially, wow, okay, we've got some interesting things coming out here. I mean, I'm not like the most surprised in the world to see like BandZ on the Charger, but Kaden on the Dually Squelchers. I have not seen like vanilla Dually Squelchers in a hot minute, as well as that L3, that new nozzle nose. What is that one? That is, I think it's Kraken, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I think that's the Kraken. If the producer can give us the quick what the weapon is, because I am totally blanking on it too. It might also be the one with the perfect.
That's right. This is like the fake novel of the.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, I'll give you the exact kit here in just a bit, but the action is, of course, happening here with 80 points remaining. Duck Testing, in this case, is able to get the lockout. And Red Shell, of course, on their famed Alta Brush, is able to get one bake over the other. It's going to be a delayed 3 situation. One member gain respawn. That is being the L3 nozzle nose in this situation. Fusion, it looks like Duck Testing are back to their silly ways as they make it past the halfway marker. Ultra doesn't get a value, but Zeal, this one, the Inkjet, that solves our mystery. Gets one member. That's Red Shell that has dropped. 37 points remain. Fusion, it is Duck Testing running with it, and they might be looking for the KO here soon.
That was a kind of miraculous, like, toe touches the ink strike pick. But nonetheless, still the zone has not been capped. Duck Testing still in control. No specials left. Okay, the Inkjet is left, but versus a Charger, it's certainly going to have to play very far back. The zone is still quite yellow. Ditto does not have enough paint to capture the zone just yet. There's so much paint that's coming out on the side of Duck Testing, but finally the tides turn a little bit. So at least for now, Ditto has a second chance to catch their breath, get some specials, and get going again, but not before Red Shell finds 2 and puts Ditto back against the wall.
Yeah, Ditto gonna have to play a little bit of recovery once again coming out of spawn. I do have the exact kit for you, Fusion. Here, the Glitters nozzle nose being this Splat Bomb and Inkjet, just for us to remember if we get to see it again from Zeal in a future map here. But nevertheless, Woomy using that Ultra Slam, going a little bit over on that toss. It is going to be Ditto at least neutralizing it for now. Zeal using the Inkjet to paint around this zone. Lucine trying to see if they can find one member. Is just going to be a bit wide on that shot. Woomy is still trying to contest with all their might, waiting for the teams to big up here. Woomy trying to flank a little bit from the right-hand side of the map as Ditto does get the zones in their favor. Woomy is able to get a pick onto Kaden. Will they get the second one? They're going to have to just retreat for their lives here. Now trying to see if they can solo off with the Ultra Stamp, but there is nobody that pops out of it. Ultra Stamp's just going to be chucked into the wayside. 2 members have gone down. 3 are gonna go down here soon. Gonna be the official wipeout to put that on top there. Fusion, a valiant effort from Ditto, but Duck Testing will get the zones back. All they lose is just a tiny bit of points in the grand scheme of this map.
Yeah, Duck Testing in control, but a quick aside, I'm extremely impressed by IB Woomy's Wiper play there. Extremely difficult to play it against weapons like the Dually Squelchers, which outrange you and also can strafe, as well as that Ink Brush. Found a few surprising picks at the end, and that's going to allow Ditto to at least get some more space towards the zone. Now, just stalling for time, maintaining a presence on the zone, but the rest of the rest of Ditto is not going to be able to make it anywhere close. Duck Testing, just once they gain that ground, they did not give in again. So they are going to end up taking that first game and in this best of 3.
Yeah, that first game being in the best of 3. I mean, it was pretty much Duck Testing running that one from the get-go there. A valiant effort, honestly, from Ditto. You noted there too, Woomy, with that Wiper play, pretty much doing what they needed to do, and all the vision being there for that Ultra Stand, trying to see if they can catch anybody off guard. Duck Testing wasn't buying any of it. They pretty much knew where Woomy was, so that pretty much just spelled the end. Pretty much delayed the inevitable there. Duck Testing up 1-0. One more map win, they go on to semifinals. That will be happening here in the Inkbot Art Academy Tower Control if they are able to do so. Now, the weapons I'm going to be curious about here, if the VDS does make a return, if that Glitters nozzle nose makes a return once more. Maybe Zeal might be trying to cook up something with that composition, but as you saw their Fusion from the first map, there was no answer from Ditto dealing with Duck Testing, so I wouldn't be shocked that there were changes.
Yeah, there could be some changes going into this one. I expect at least a couple. I feel like you'd be hard-pressed to pull out the Dually Squelchers on a map like this. I feel like it's really okay, but Caden's incredible at Dually Squelcher, so I don't know anything. It seems very challenging to attack people who are on the tower with those Dually Squelchers, but it does provide a very nice amount of pressure that can help deal with all of the short-range weapons that are coming out on the side of Ditto. So Caden's going to be sticking with those squelchers here early in this game. It's going to allow Duck Testing to get a few picks and seems like get off to a strong early start, but the pencil Digipa is going to be able to find a pick, slow the momentum at least a little bit, and make it more difficult for them to get this first checkpoint, especially when combined with a nice inkjet snipe from Zeal. So we find ourselves back near square one here at the start of game 2.
Yeah, game 2 back to where the game basically started from spawn, and now we get to see a lot of skirmishing here. Pretty much a departure from what we saw earlier today, where I believe Count My Band. No, it was the other group there, Ascension, basically running that one with an early start. Now both teams are pretty much just stuck into this neutral fight there. Wyrmwind surprisingly not able to get anybody with that Ultra Stim. You figured the hitbox might catch one off guard, but that's not going to be the case here, as Duck Testing barely gets that first checkpoint save. Somehow only a 1 point difference there. That first checkpoint is going to inevitably go down. The question is going to be which team is going to be the one to do so. The trip strikes are being tossed across the map. Zeal is stuck in no man's land, going to get completely outdone there by Caden on those vanilla dually squelchers. 2 members have gone down. This is going to be Duck Testing's push coming up here, but they will get stalled out here with 2 points left. This is going to be an extended leader here, if anything. First checkpoint, will they get it? The answer is no, as Wyrmwind does get that wiper double slash in, and Wyrmwind prevents the first checkpoint from being taken out. Fusion 3:13 left to go on the clock. Surprisingly enough, the first checkpoint is nowhere to be taken.
Yeah, it is still intact, despite, I mean, those strikes from BandZ were absolutely incredible. There was absolutely nowhere to retreat to except into the enemy team. Despite that, Ditto managed to come out mostly unscathed. I mean, the strikes from BandZ were incredible, but the strikes on the other side coming out from Ditto were huge as well. And both of these teams are struggling so much just to get past this first checkpoint. There's just so many avenues with which they can shoot at this tower, especially with those pencils or charger. And I mean, Wyrmwind's just been so good around these corners here in mid, finding a couple more picks. This is Wyrmwind's world, and we're living in it. Despite that, it is still almost a 0-0 game. Nobody, actually, excuse me. Ditto does have that first checkpoint, so that does provide them some advantage here, but it's been repeatedly Duck Testing just pushing against that first check. So it seems like at any moment that dam is going to burst and the points are going to start coming, but remains to be seen. There goes that first checkpoint. Here comes Duck Testing, Kyon.
Here comes Duck Testing. Now they've broken through exactly what you called on time. It is going to be the dam breaking through, excuse me, as it is going to be the Ultra Stamp being used here. Wyrmwind is trying to stamp out the ever elusive wave breaker need to be stamped out of there, and that will be basically Wyrmwind chucking that Ultra Stamp gone. Zeal takes out Caden. Nobody going through this treacherous second checkpoint that can always be tough to get in any situation. 1:25 left to go on the clock. Now the inkjet being used here. They're trying to go for Riki, who's trying to escape with their lives. 2 members cornering Riki. Zeal's gonna be flying too close to Caden though, and they're gonna be neutralized just like that. All the tower fighting here, Fusion, but 1:10 left to go on the clock, and Duck Testing only barely hanging on to a lead. But now the 1-1 checkpoint being tied here. It's gonna come down to some key plays here. Duck Testing might be looking to break this one through.
Yeah, and it seems like they're going to for certain here. The points are going to continue coming. We've already got 2 members of Duck Testing up ahead in that bats. Caden on the dually squelchers combined with red shells, Zipcaster are going to do quite a bit of damage. That tower is going to easily roll past that second checkpoint, and still it's so dangerous to try and get close to that tower. But multiple members coming from multiple angles is going to allow Ditto to recapture their plat and give themselves at least an opportunity to stay alive. This is, I believe, their tournament match. They are playing for their tournament life at this point. They need to get past that second checkpoint, but in order to do that, they need to watch those flanks. Red shell comes in, the bomb finds Wyrmwind. Ditto, 10 seconds left, has to make a move right now.
The move has to be right now for Ditto. They are able to take 2 members out of the picture. This is going to be GG strikes imminent here if they're not able to eliminate the Zeko Firefin there. And it looks like, no, the Trip Strikes isn't going to be there. So now someone has to swim right into this tower, which I think, yep, there's going to be Riki right on cue. Q able to swim right to it. Ditto pretty much had everything nearly put together on that last push. But when the Ink Strikes are pretty much ready to go from duck testing, there's just no chance you can swim right through it. Duck testing 2-0 over Ditto. They move on to semifinals. They're going to be taking on Race to the Line, which we will be seeing here rather soon. So what a great continued start here for Duck Testing, also known as Duck Motif, coming into that game too. And Fusion, a lot of things to really hone in on there with Duck Testing able to take that one through despite the struggle bus that was the first checkpoint.
Yeah, I mean, they threw a lot of punches for sure. I mean, Duck Testing was throwing a lot of punches. Ditto was kind of parrying consistently, but the one time they let their guard down, Duck Testing was able to just push it to the limit there. I mean, we saw. I think tower control overtime is extremely interesting. No
kidding.
It kind of, I don't know. It both sucks and it doesn't. It's really interesting in that I feel like everyone's like, oh, it's a guaranteed win. You just throw your strikes at the tower, but it's so easy to mess it up. We saw actually towards the end of that game there, members of Ditto rolled to that first checkpoint where I presume they thought that the strikes were going to come out onto the tower. But as a result of that, they jumped up onto the plat. They tried to get to the bats because that's where BandZ was. That's where the strikes would be coming from. But because they just jumped up and ran forward instantly, they tried to bait the strikes out essentially and were not able to get it in time. The tower rolled up to a very nice spot where they were able to jump on to the tower while the strikes were going off. But just as easily, people can be like, okay, let's defend. Let's stop them at the second checkpoint. But then they end up giving up ground because they stop fighting like, we need to hold our plat. We need to hold our bats because they have those strikes. So people can kind of end up like shooting themselves in the foot a little bit by doing that. It's not like quite the same as like Stingray, which could just kill you from anywhere. Like you need to have the like 1-2 combo. You need to throw it at the tower. You need to be able to stand vulnerable in a place, and you need to have someone go and touch it. So there's kind of an interesting confluence of factors that like go into overtime. Like obviously still if you're winning, you're in a really, really good spot, but the number of times we see the team that's winning kind of beef it, it's interesting.
It's always intriguing to see if it always ends up happening. But the right thing that Duck Testing needed to do was to stagger the trip strikes, and it was pretty much a free path for Riki to just jump into the tower and assume control that way. So it is the one case where it was not the case. So that's how we see Duck Testing move on to semifinals. Great notes there, Fusion, for sure. We got to talk about the next game because this tournament waits for no one. We're going to continue on with coverage for Duck Testing. This time, Raise the Line XP. I think that's XP. I'm sure someone's going to correct me on that. It's going to be Gabe, Westy, Ali, and Pika, of course, rounding out that group. And we already covered Duck Testing in great detail. Pika's team has arrived. Yes, Pika.
Pika. Yeah, I'm stoked to see them. A lot of people I know, and I'm super excited to see. I like viewing the XP not as like, your X power, but just like a face with the tongue stuck out. That's like the 2 carrots in is like the eyes closed. Anyway, I use that emoji a lot, and I don't think anyone else does. People need to use it more. This is my call to you to use XP. Lowercase x is okay too.
I hate to shatter your heart, Fusion. I've went away from that for way too long. So take that as you will. I'm sure the people that defend that emoji are gonna go smashing my DM saying, "Yo, why aren't you doing this?" I will pay the damages later. But yeah, I love seeing these teams just crawl back, just show up there, especially notable names like Pika, Wessie, of course, being another member I've recognized around the block, and Ali, of course. So Raise the line XP. We can see them move forward here. It's going to probably be an intriguing matchup here against Duck Testing, which we've already seen before. Fusion, we go from best of 3 from Swimmer Sync. Now we raise it up to best of 5. First to 3 is gonna be what we're dealing with here. Every other map is gonna be maps 1, 3, 5 will be zones in that matter. We kick things off with Mako zones. I jokingly Fusion, even in our new year 2026, Mako zones is basically as standard as you can possibly get, and I want to see what both teams want to do here.
Yep. I'm interested to see just generally what the dynamic coming out from Raise the Line is. Because I mean, we know Duck Testing generally pretty aggressive, throws a lot of punches. But Raise the Line, they have Ali on that Tetra on their team. So I kind of expect this is going to be a little bit of a bloodbath going into this set here. I think it could be a little bit like, I don't know. I think generally Duck Testing isn't pulling out the Reef Slider, but we may see that going into another zones map here. But we're definitely going to be seeing. Thank you, 5G. Yeah.
You know, I wasn't. You know, I should have seen this one coming, Fusion. I should have realized. This is probably a subliminal message for me now too. Of all things, I swear. Man, I think to your point. I want. It's only getting bigger. Oh my goodness. That's a message. That's a message to you. It's oh my goodness. It's only growing bigger.
Oh my goodness.
It's how far can this go? How far can this go? for Raise Line. All right, we're out of here. Now we can answer the questions here if we're gonna get to see the aggression here. Of course, the only changes here is that Raise Line is now assuming the Bravo team. We're gonna probably be seeing pretty much the exact weapons. So actually, minus one member that slightly swaps out here. We get to see Pika on that vanilla mini. There, Gabe's on the mint decaf. Ali is gonna be on Tetris. Wesley on pencil. So that's the lineup that we're seeing here out of Raise the Line. And Duck Testing pretty much running the similar comp that we saw from Tower Control here, Fusion, to kick off this best of 5.
It's going to be a very interesting start to the game here as teams end up trading 2v2, 2 for 2 here. Mini Splatling should help Raise the Line at least maintain a neutral zone here in the middle of the map. Excellent. Hammer is going to solidify the hold, and Raise the Line XP with a strong opening statement here is going to get the first cap. And I don't know. Tetras are crazy because they like go headfirst into danger and they take every single bullet except the one that kills them. You know, it feels they're always on 1 HP no matter what. So great job, Ali. Raise the Line is going to try to extend their lead here, but Duck Testing back on their feet has the strikes, looking to answer back.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much exactly what happened there with Ali. I think that's just what we noticed in real time there. Nice sauce by the way from Pika with that ultra fan onto Kaden as well, and that should somehow actually Raise the Line that is able to pick a lot more into the zone. The control is going to be assumed, but only for neutral for now there, as Gabe is trying to throw out their mint decaf. They're getting caught into the line of fire. That is the triple ink streaks being dished here. Gabe does go down. The zones in Duck Testing favor. Duck Testing was in a huge deficit. Now they may have picked up some ground there. Red Shell on the other side actually going to get snuffed out. So this should be the zone split potentially imminent here. Pika's actually not going to be the one to paint it quite yet until that ultra sand being tossed. The rest of the team is able to back them up here. Raise the Line prevents Duck Testing from getting more points on the board. They're going to have to chew through these penalty points. Fusion, 3 members down, though. Great opportunity for Duck Testing coming up. And hey, Duck Testing still showing some resiliency.
Yeah, Kaden over on that right side in a very good spot to potentially do some damage. The Dually Squelchers allowing Kaden to just slide around that corner, find a very nice pick onto the Mini Splatling, and that means, or that's going to allow Duck Testing to extend their lead here, potentially take the extend their hold, and it seems like that is going to be the case as they manage to pick off members of Raise the Line just a bit, but the Reef Slider manages to come in just slightly too late, but that does seem like it is going to be the cap. The tides are shifting. That is going to be, any moment now, a zone cap for Raise the Line XP.
Yeah, we were just waiting for the sliver of paint that we did from Raise the Line. Where is it going to be coming from? And it comes out right then and there. And that is going to be... Raise the Line has to go through these penalty points soon. They're able to eliminate Kaden. Kaden's been target number 1 here for Raise the Line so far. Red Shell also being the other one. Red Shell, as we know, a very excellent brush player as well. Trying to see if they can do a lot there. They're going to get traded away, but it is going to be a lead change coming up here, as it is going to be Raise the Line XP able to get that lead coming in here. Kaden's going to try to go into the backside of this map, and it doesn't look like they're going to get picks, but it is enough space that they need for duck testing to follow up with the paint here. But this might just be a very short-lived hold here, as Gabe is now trying to fly right in, able to get, well, actually to get the assist on the one. The wipeout is secured. Duck testing goes down, and they're added more penalty points on the board here. Raise the Line gets the zones back here. Fusion, Raise the Line XP is looking really good.
Yeah, they certainly are. They needed to get a lot of paint after that hold there, so they need to be a little bit careful not to get too far ahead of themselves, because that was such a scattered fight in the zone there that they did not have that much actual turf control, despite managing to come out on top there. So taking some extra time may help them, and a stray jump is going to end up biting. Raise the Line as duck testing manages to stroll back in. Red Shell finds 2, chases the dualies out of the zone here, and now the penalty ticking low. Duck testing is going to be extending their lead in the last 50 seconds of this game.
Last 50 seconds. This is gonna be the lead change. They're gonna keep the hold going. Ali is trying to do their best hero impression by throwing the Reef Slider into the zone. Gonna get eliminated and not able to get the cap onto the zone like they were hoping for. And this is gonna be an extended lead here. They're still pushed back. Raise Line XP, that is. Westy trying to put a lot onto this zone. They will be able to do so with the 2 members that have gone down. Now everybody's trying to move forward here from Raise the Line XP. So far, Red Shell and everybody from duck testing gonna wait for all 4 members to go up as a unit. Their alley is gonna get punished on that left-hand side of the map. Now there's gonna be the penalty points gone through. Gabe is trying to look for members. Is gonna get snuffed out there. Everybody had to be invested onto Gabe. 2 members are gonna be going down from duck testing. Red Shell's gonna be on this left stack, gonna try to go on to Westy. They're using the zip caster to all their might, but all of that being said, and not enough manpower left from duck testing. The 2 members that gone down earlier was pretty much the end of the defense. Raise the Line XP, oh my goodness, Fusion, taking home game 1 to kick off the best of 5. What a great back and forth game that map was.
Yeah, that was wild towards the end there. I mean, I think I got a little bit faked out too. We saw Ali on the Tetras get into the base. They were all pretty aware she was coming in, and Red Shell was able to help the team deal with that. But I don't know where Gabe came from, because Gabe just suddenly appeared behind them, and I think that they managed to get at least 1 pick out of that and just kind of turn the entirety of duck testing around. I feel like there's a couple of those situations where they're just not quite aware quick enough. I mean, we saw the Reef Slider come in clutch several times throughout that, and even though the Reef Slider gets taken out, that's just kind of that's what it does. It does that. Yep. Even if it doesn't cap the zone, it forces the enemy team to just drop back, paint the zone over it, take out the member, and that clears up the stacks. On a map like this where the stacks are so important, dropping off of that is such a huge loss in your territory and your control over that area, that it can open a lot of doorways. So hey, look, it's me. It's me, POV. No, not POV. Opposite of POV. But good bit. I rate it 10 out of 10. We're going into the next game.
Oh man, if I choose to point out all the stops here, we love you a lot here. Oh, by the way, there's a weapon change. We're gonna quickly cover that one. No weapon changes here from Raise on XP. It is gonna be Bandit on the custom E leader, the one with the Kraken this time, and of course the beacons of course as well. Jumps can be provided here with this particular weapon here, Fusion. So, and then coming into this Undertow Spillway Tower control, we do get to see 4 members of duck testing assuming a lot of control around this mid area. There are 2 members going down. This should be an advantage, at least for duck testing, in terms of control that they can get here. The first checkpoint is going to be cleared. Not everybody's in position. Westy is sniped out by Bandit. BandZ there, and that is going to be BandZ getting one member, excuse me, and is going to be Kaden pushing the other members back. And Fusion, just like that, about close to 40 seconds in, and we are basically close to getting more points on the board for Duck Testing if they're able to take advantage. They're just pushing Raise Line XP back.
Yeah, Kaden making excellent use of that tiny little bump to block a lot of shots. Duck Testing coming out strong so far this game. They even have those beacons set up to just let their team filter back in safely without having to jump right into this corner here. And it seems like a second checkpoint is going to be in the books for them. As the tower marches onwards, Kaden just tearing through the enemy team, trying to get into the spawn. They do manage to get in, find one pick, looking for even more. They're going to end up challenging the pencil. Who's going to come out on top? It is going to be the pencil, and that is going to potentially save the game for Raise the Line, but the pressure is not stopping anytime soon. The tower at that final checkpoint. Duck Testing looking to end this game before a comeback's even possible.
I think they were looking for that one push to just take it home all the way. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case so far, but what a great start from Duck Testing. Raise the Line XP. Well, if there's anything that they got plenty of time to materialize something, there's still plenty of time to work with there, but that was probably the big surprise they had. Just the slow start from the two members down, and it led to something that went way out of control. Ali using the restart, I think, trying to chase out Kanan, but is going to get caught out there. BandZ is able to take out Ali there like a sitting duck. And it is going to be basically all the members of Raise the Line trying to crash around this mid area. That the first checkpoint is going to be cleared. And it's going to be Gabe taking out one, and I think the second one is also there as well. And now Raise the Line XP is trying to rise up to the occasion here. Fusion, this is going to be an imminent push coming up here from Raise the Line XP as they're trying to keep this momentum going. Especially if they eliminate BandZ, that's their long-range weapon going down. They may have a response here soon. It's just a matter of they can keep everything, all the pain around this tower, this checkpoint rather, maintained.
Yeah, tower seems to be getting past that checkpoint. Red Shell being very patient, ends up then tossing a bomb, giving himself away. The tower is going to be a little bit stuck at that corner there. We'll see if the Tetra is going to be able to find a pick to create the opening they need. Not quite. Kaden is the duelie that ends up coming out on top. The tower is going to end up getting stalled over in that corner. Kaden ends up storming in, finding a trade, but it is on that pencil, so that will prevent any future coolers from coming out, at least for the current time. And Duck Testing manages to survive the assault. And really good stuff. Raise the Line managed to clear out the area where beacons were, over where BandZ is up in that top left, super well last time, but despite that, because they had to end up taking it slow, turn around, Duck Testing was just able to get more members closer to that tower to attack even sooner. So excellent stuff from Duck Testing to just maintain the position that they had, and they want more points on the board. Without a checkpoint in the way, these points can come very quickly.
The points can come here in a flurry here from Duck Testing, as it is going to just be the two members that are going to go down. They're not going to be able to take advantage of it whatsoever here, as it looks like Ali once again trying to fly in with the restart. I don't know what exactly got Red Shell out of the Zika, so that might have been the restarter exploding, just barely nicking Red Shell there, so it will put the stops on that push as Pika takes out BandZ with the Ultra Stamp. That might have been a little silly there, but hey, it works out. Pika and the rest of Raise Line XP now with no checkpoints anywhere close to them are trying to see if they can keep the aggression going. 40 seconds left to go on the clock. Tower slowly moving here. It's Westy on tower duty here, but they are going to drop, and it is just going to be the two members that have dropped here. It is going to be the specials being burned, Reef Slider, and Bubble being used. Red Shell cannot get the pick onto Westy, but there is a double off of a toss from Pika, but Red Shell is able to run them over with the Octobrush on top of it. Red Shell is going to be the one that has to escape. That will so far be Red Shell taking out Gabe there, and this might be a successful hold from Duck Testing despite literally the kitchen sink being tossed in from Raise Line XP. Duck Testing might be able to hold them off very well, but it is going to come down to the OT push. Here it says Westy is down one on pencil duty. Pretty much no GG strikes available, but they are going to lose two. This might just be GG's anyway. There's the Kraken. Just going to be the one to guard the tower for all their might. Fusion, valiant effort from Raise Line XP. Some highlight plays just wasn't enough as Red Shell had other ideas, and Duck Testing ties up the set 1-1.
Yes, Duck Testing answering back with a very strong message there. They're able to just maintained so much control over throughout that game. And I think that Caden did an excellent job like throughout that game, utilizing the range, utilizing the rolls, just over the small geometry of that map, just helps clear a lot of space. We also saw Red Shell do an excellent job doing a lot of the same things, but we saw some of the Zipcaster ending up on like higher ground, essentially hitting high on the wall, and nobody's really able to aim straight up except for that pencil. So they were able to really successfully turn the attention of Raise the Line around, and now we have an interesting set on our hands. Interestingly, there are 3 zones maps here, so that Reef Slider will potentially come into play a little bit more than perhaps duck testing would like, but this is a split zone map, one of the few in the game, so perhaps not quite as valuable here. I think we've seen like some strong lockouts happen on this map. We've seen some strong lockouts happen on this map. We'll see whether these teams are going to be able to do the same here, because I think with just a pencil, Raise the Line may be susceptible to getting locked out. They have no specials for like straight up getting back in. You can see we have Hammer, we have Bubble, we have Cooler, and we have a Reef Slider. No displacement specials on their hands, and we see a displacement special actually coming out from BandZ. That's going to be the Crab Charger going into Game 3.
I was wondering if BandZ wanted to stick things back there with a different weapon of sorts, but it looks like BandZ will go back to the bag of tricks and dish out the Crab Charger, if you will, exactly what you noted there, which basically has everything you need to cover for long range redundancy. So I wanted to see how BandZ can take full advantage of it. It is going to be Red Shell, of course, with that Ultra Stamp. It immediately stamps Gabe out. Express shipping is required as Red Shell is able to get a few there. By the way, on that Wiper instead of the Octobrush that we're used to seeing from Red Shell, so that is going to be a lot more points on the board. The bubble is going to be used. Gabe is just doing their best as they are able to eliminate 2 on themselves, and the Ultra Stamp does take out Red Shell. Ultra Stamp on Ultra Stamp crime has been committed, as it will just be the 2 zones that should be captured by Raise Line XP. Duck testing, however, only down to the 77-point range. Not really much of a lead so far. A lot of things can happen here especially in a large 2 zones map. All things considered here, Fusion, we are back to the back and forth that we are used to seeing so far from both these teams.
Yeah, interesting shift though is Red Shell on that Wiper, able to move quickly, but not quickly enough, as Raise the Line's able to collapse and take Red Shell out before he does some damage onto Raise the Line. So now, oh my goodness, 2 times now, Red Shell has been just cut down with a hammer in his hands, and that's, I mean, they're gonna have it again pretty quickly, but nonetheless, the timer is ticking. Raise the Line gets the score all the way below 50 points there, as they extend their lead into this Game 3 here. The pencil's going to end up backing up, staying alive. Now this 1v1 on that left side is going to come out in a trade, and finally the momentum seems to be shifting, and duck testing is going to regain some control.
Yeah, Duck is able to regain some control with a very strong effort there from Raise Line XP, able to get that past the halfway marker. It's going to just be the 2 members that have dropped that. It does include BandZ and Red Shell that have both dropped, but more importantly, Paint on the board so far has kept Duck testing in control up until that very moment there, and that will just be the 2 members that have dropped. That is going to be the zones cap possibly imminent here, as long as they're fighting for the other zone, which they are able to. Raise Line XP able to do their part. They get 46 points remaining. Now they're just trying to see if they can get more. Red Shell just take Gabe out. Another Ultra Stamp out, taking out Gabe again. Red Shell trying to make sure that Gabe is not allowed to play Splatoon with that Mint Decap, which is not going so well, as Gabe's been doing a lot so far in this game. 2 members have gone down there from Raise Line XP. That is another snipe. BandZ takes out Gabe again for this one, and 3 members drop. This should be the zones being flipped in the other direction. Duck testing will be able to get a lot of ground here. Fusion, 2 members have gone down, and now Duck testing able to keep the momentum going. Now things could shift in a hurry here, as they're going to be out of the penalty points.
Yeah, it was a huge stagger on that mini Splatling, but some very nice shots from the pencil are going to enable Raise the Line to at least get back into the middle of the map here. But this time, Red Shell is going to end up coming out on top, and he still has that hammer in tow. Here it comes on that right side, finds yet another pick. This is a huge opening. Duck Testing extending their lead here. Not quite able to put the game away just yet, as they do end up going 2 members down. The Gabe flanks around that left side there. Charger manages to get out in time. Raise the Line XP is going to recapture that zone, but still so much yellow ink in the middle of the map. They need to be very careful, or Duck Testing's just going to snatch this right back.
Exactly to the point. Duck Testing still has everything, as you saw from the gameplay, in their control. Don't be surprised if the enemy number 1 for Raise Line XP is going to be Red Shell, but those staggered 3 actually. It's going to be delayed 3 on top of it. That will give Raise the Line XP some room to maneuver past the 2 zones. Now they're looking for picks across the way, but Wesley's going to be eliminated there as well. Red Shell now flying in with the Ultra Stamp, is going to be able to stamp one area, is now placed onto Ali. Red Shell is gone. Ali takes him out. What? I cannot believe that even worked, as that is the lead that does indeed change hands, and that is indicated that wrong. There are some shenanigans that are playing your Fusion, and it's only 9:30 p.m. in the Central Time, as it is 15 points remain, and now Raise Line XP, there's 2 down, and Duck Testing is able to stop them, maybe for now. They're willing to get both of the zones, and now this is Raise Line XP. This is now the last push imminent here, as Raise Line XP, their goal is to just make sure they get capital both zones without losing too many members in the process. Red Shell using that Ultra Stamp, trying to see if they can find anybody. Keeping it neutral will also take down the overtime timer, as well as Red Shell does take out Pika. But there is 44 members across the line here from Duck Testing. All that Raise Line XP needs to do is try to paint over it and make sure OT expired. 2 members going down should help. Gabe is right there. This is just a fight for both zones, and this is going to be a successful stall tactic here for Raise Line XP. Fusion shenanigans were in play in the last few minutes. Raise Line XP up 2-1 off the Mumami Ruins. Zone's victory. 1 more, and they advance to the grand finals here in the Great White Brackets.
Ali, how did you stay alive there? You rolled straight through that hammer. I have a clip that's almost like that in Splatoon 2 that has a weirdly similar geometry to the edge of Umami, but that was insane. Staying alive, getting several picks in the process, keeping Duck Testing in the game, and near the end there, actually, the sword Gabe on the side of Raise the Line managed to do an incredible job stalling from behind, and that allowed Raise the Line to just get back in. Again, like I said, Raise the Line doesn't have many displacement specials for getting back in, so that kind of stalling is absolutely massive. It's kind of everything when you run a team composition like that. You need to be able to get people into off angles, and if you're not, it could spell the end of your team. I mean, we haven't seen Raise the Line wipe yet. They've always been 2 down, maybe 3 down, but they're kind of, there's always someone alive in the process. So they've done a great job throughout these few games doing that. And we see a little bit of a pattern emerge. We're wondering if Raise the Line is, Zones Warriors and Duck Testing is going to win the other modes. We'll have to see on Clamblitz Scorch Gorge. Any thoughts on the last game, or predictions going into this one, Keon?
I think as much as I can say here, Fusion, I think if Duck Testing was next one, they're gonna have to break the schneid somehow against Raise the Line with the zone, the aptly named Zones Warrior, if you will. I'm still in awe by how Ali even dodged the hammer. I'm just the same as with you on that one. So hey, more kudos to Ali. Now you're gonna have to play a different mode. You're not allowed to play zones this time. You're gonna have to play Clam Blitz. You're gonna have to deal with BandZ back on the back on their E leader here. I think at this point we just have to assume that Raise Line XP are just gonna keep the same weapons. So coming to this one, now you get BandZ back on that E leader, the custom E leader. Though a small sample size, that did get them the victory in the tower control map earlier, game 2 that is. So that wanting to see how this all plays out. But Fusion, of course, on the gathering clams and waiting to see when the power clam spawns and which team will get the advantage first.
Yeah, I mean, Caden's very, very bold with the dually squelchers, able to just play at close range, which I feel like is extremely difficult considering how wide the bullets are. They're so far apart that you can't focus fire. Going top mid at the start with dually squelchers, extremely bold. But duck testing off to a pretty good start here, but they lose a little bit of ground. Red Shell's going to make it up for them with some nice picks around mid. Octobrush super strong around mid. Red Shell knows exactly how to maneuver around this pillar. The pencil on that left side, a little bit of an interesting kind of unconventional aggressive, or at least a very aggressive position from that pencil early in the game, and now you can see Raise the Line losing a little bit of ground here as duck testing manages to apply the pressure, and Raise the Line is being forced back. But super neutral, almost a minute and a half into the game, almost nothing has happened.
Well, it's. I'm just gonna say it's typical Clam Blitz gameplay. At this point, someone's gonna have to get a power clam. Maybe this is the opportunity here because Red Shell just completely threw them off guard by going from the other side of the map. Excuse me, and able to get the power clam thrown in, and that's gonna be all 7 clams from BandZ being cashed in on that one. That's gonna be the 56 points remaining here, and that's gonna. I think that's gonna. That's all it's gonna be for clams, other than just the one thrown in to extend the time, or maybe a little bit more. The answer is gonna be no, and that will just be close to the halfway marker for score, but that does give them a 2 power clam lead cushion, if you will, coming into this. Now, Raise Line XP now knows what the strength of that first push is. Question is, can they piece together the other side? That's gonna be something that we'll have to wait here. As once again, both teams are gathering clams. It is gonna be 14 clams in possession for duck testing here, and that's so far Fusion. It's been a great push for duck testing. Raise Line XP is still trying to figure out ways to gather clams. I don't think duck testing is gonna let them.
Yeah, duck testing has been in control of this game from like 30 seconds onwards. They managed to put together some power clams, and they do get one into the basket there, but end up going like 3 down in the process. So that is just going to provide Raise the Line another pity clam. Raise the Line is having a hard time moving from top mid to like basically the other team's plat. Duck testing has just been very mindful of that. I mean, interesting kind of like turnaround there, using like the brushes game against them. The whole, oh, I'm running away. Nope, I'm not. I'm back against them there. As Raise the Line is going to find a few picks, but duck testing answers back immediately. Just 2 minutes left in the game. Still anyone's game, but Raise the Line has been in control so far. Duck testing's been in control so far as Raise the Line has been kind of stuck in their spawn, but this is the opportunity they're waiting for. They're just needing that bubble, and that's exactly what Gabe is going to provide them. 1 clam is going to hit that basket. More clams are going to follow. We have the Reef Slider at the ready. There should be a lead, just an extra clam. There it is. The Reef Slider gonna answer. Wow, huge push coming out from Raise the Line as Ali just pushes the aggression and allows the score to rack up.
And hey, that's a well-timed bubble there. Pika realizes that they were trying to make something happen there. The jumps are all aggressive, and all that being said and done, just kind of an awkward place for Pika to jump, and it's going to lead to the free clam completely disappearing off the map there. That is going to be the lead. That is going to at least be the lead here for Raise the Line XP, but now duck testing. Now they got that 1 power clam. They also got the free clam back at base that they can leverage here. Special something you need to keep an eye on is going to be the aggression here from duck testing, as they got a zip caster to work off of. It's going to be Retro just flying right in. 2 members have gone down. The defense is crumbling here as this is the delayed wipe, and this will be the push coming up here. Pass the bowling points will be the 46. They just need a handful of clams for the lead change. That will be the case. 22 points remain, and now a whole lot more to work with so far. BandZ's going to retreat. Their beacon being used in case they need to use it for some extra ground. I mean, Fusion, 27 seconds left to go on the clock. Now duck testing had a much better response in return, and that is a lead for them.
Yes, it is. 20 seconds left. They do manage to get out mostly unscathed from that. Duck testing's in a good spot to defend here, as that mini Splatling is going to end up challenging the Dually Squelcher. Caden Squelchers come out on top. They find 2 picks on to Raise the Line, but one of them is in the spawn of duck testing. Gabe's going to manage to stay alive here, but being aggressive with 7 clams, no power clams anywhere near the basket. The Dualies is going to roll in, but are they going to be able to get to the basket in time? Seems like all those attacks, and none of them ended up near that basket. Now the zip caster straight at the pencil with the power clam. I don't think there's any way a clam's making it here. Duck testing is going to hang on, and we have a game 5 here in semifinals.
Swimmer Sync 2-1-2, the first Swimmer Sync of 2026. I hope you all love a Game 5 as much in the nightcap where you are, or if you're in Europe. I don't know why you're still awake late into the evening. So, hey, if you guys want a Game 5, you're gonna get one here. And Fusion, I've asked the question earlier: can duck testing solve the riddle of Razorline XP's ability to win zones? Maybe they can figure that one out in Hagglefish Market zones. Then up there, probably the most. I know I always say Inkbot TC is the final destination of tower control maps. Maybe zones has a lot of good ones for the most part. So I think all the good ones will be the final destinations for sure. But either way, this has been a very entertaining 5-game set so far. Duck testing not able to win most of the zones map. They're gonna have to solve that riddle. They're gonna have to get over the Schneid eventually into Hagglefish Market zones. But it was, to no surprise, that we're seeing here in Fusion. They can win the non-zones map. They just have to piece it all together in a zones map, and this is what we're gonna see in Game 5. As I hate to break it, we're upside down here, Fusion. Help us out here.
I don't know. I seem fine.
Please help.
The blood's rushing to your head.
Oh no.
I'm feeling a little delirious.
I blame the fact that it's nighttime here. I blame the fact that it's nighttime here. A lot of silly things can happen. I mean, now it's okay. Fine, we're out of. I'm no longer upside down, but I am lying on my side here. It is clearly bedtime over here. Here now. Fusion, the question remains: can Duck testing solve the riddle of Razorline's XP ability to win zones? What do you think so far? Do they have the chance?
I mean, it seemed good so far. The thing that is interesting to me is that duck testing, I think something like the Dually Squelchers could be extremely valuable if they're able to get up towards that tent on the enemy plat. We haven't seen like a super successful spawn camp coming out from duck testing so far this set. I think in a lot of ways just because they're not playing slower, but I think like it's mostly like a get in, get out kind of thing, whereas Raise the Line is going all in. But Hagglefish is very interesting in that you can get onto the plat and then back up a little bit, so you can utilize the range of your weapons to try and keep the enemy back. But a strong opening from Raise the Line is going to give them the early cap and some extra points on the board. So things looking good for them so far in this decisive Game 5, Kyon.
Game 5, and we're gonna be. By the way, we're also gonna be seeing that Octobrush as well. That's the one with the Kraken and a vanilla E-Leader from BandZ. So only minute changes so far, but the same main weapon applies. But that's, as you know, a great start overall from Razorline XP. The 3 down led to something great, and Alpica with the Ultra Stamp from the heavens that doesn't quite land into its target, and it is now down to the 47 points remaining. Now, this is going to be Duck Testing's chance to see if they can crawl right in. Allie just flying into the to the other side. I think to force 2 members to say, "Look at me here," but Razorline also crumbles on top of it. Duck Testing cuts off Razorline's XP push a little bit more. Duck Testing, they get the cap of the zone. 27 points remaining is going to be the score for Razorline XP. And now a great start, but now Razorline XP needs to hold things where they want to keep that lead safe.
Yeah, I mean, pushing in versus like that E-Later versus the brush sitting under the ledges could be extremely difficult, and already the pencil is going to get taken out on the side of Raise the Line. But while that's happening, the Squelchers gets taken out, the Sword's going to find a few picks, the Reef Slider caps the zone, so Raise the Line is going to manage to get back into the map, into the middle of the map, but it's a very messy fight, and messy seems to be exactly what Raise the Line wants. I mean, moving around that right side with a flank is going to allow them to kind of pinch duck testing, but yeah, we'll see how long they're going to be able to hold on to it, because Caden's kind of doing the same thing to them there.
No kidding there as well. Kaden is trying to. There's been a chaotic fights across the board for Razorline XP. Kaden wants to match that same chaoticness with their lone Dually Squelchers there, but it doesn't look like that didn't quite materialize for Raise the Line here now, or excuse me, Duck Testing. As Duck Testing losing 2, they did pick up the cooler, I believe, from earlier, so this is going to be leading to quick respawn. so far. Pika is gonna get chomped down there by the rest of Duck Testing. This is gonna be the Reef Slider that basically gets secured cap of the zone, but not for how long being the question there. As it looks like one member's already on the back, and there are fights happening across the board here. Fusion, a lot of members trying to pull off flanks. Resto gets the pick onto Gabe, and it is gonna be 2 down. 4 members are all up for Duck Testing. Now the cooler being chucked ahead, excuse me, as Duck Testing will pick up those cooler. Fusion, they're going to be out of the penalty points here soon, and now this is Duck Testing's best chance so far. Raise line XP, again, they just need to hold firm on defense.
Yeah, absolutely no specials in play for either team so far. The bubble is now online. Droid managing to get out and manages to bait a few people away, but is that going to create enough of an opening for that Reef Slider to get in? It does not cap the zone. It gets in, neutralizes it, but that's not enough. Oh my goodness. Raise the Line manages to get back on their side of the zone. That lets them get the bubble there in time. They do get the cap, but not before Duck Testing takes the lead. Raise the Line has not quite had a clean fight so far. Pika just answering the Kraken exit immediately with that hammer. Very, very messy, chaotic fight. This is what Splatoon is about, but Raise the Line has not come out on top of the fights in the latter half of this game. Duck Testing back in control. Now Westy running for their life. They're going to get taken out, and now here comes Duck Testing looking to put the game away, storming into the enemy base. It's all coming down to this, whether or not they're able to successfully do it, and it seems like Duck Testing has been successful so far.
Yeah, Duck Testing has looked really solid. It's always a question. It's not a matter of how you start, it's how you finish right now, and it is going to be 18 points remaining. And Duck Testing, they may have solved the riddle of Raise Line XP, because that's 2 members down. There's not going to be enough members left. They're going to just try to bum rush it and V-line it for the zone. And Duck Testing indeed solves the zone's riddle for Raise Line XP. They give Raise Line XP the first zone's loss, and it happens to be the most important one. Duck Testing basically survives the 5-game set here, and Fusion, oh my goodness, that was phenomenal from Duck Testing. They had to spend some time just waiting a bit there, but Duck Testing is able to rise up to the challenge.
Yeah, that was a wild set. I mean, we kind of saw Duck Testing give them a taste of their own medicine there. I mean, it felt like Raise the Line was continuously moving forward, so when people ended up behind them, they're like, and we just saw how much work Caden was able to do, because when the pencil was not able to just stand in place, it really forced all the aggressive members to turn around. Just excellent stuff overall. I think Caden seemed like the MVP of that last game there, especially just being in an off angle. Both of those teams are going to end up, Duck Testing is going to end up in finals. Raise the Line just narrowly misses it. They're going to end up in that 3rd place match with Count My Bands, who we saw earlier. And our finals, Usagi Fan Club versus Duck Testing. Whew.
I gotta give a lot of props, by the way, to before we hop into the grand finals here, because I think Usagi Fan Club's been waiting a while here. I do want to give a lot of props to Raise Line XP, by the way, able to go toe to toe with Duck Testing, especially 3/4 Duck motif, and Kaden, of course, from recent Halcyon there as well. Able to take them to the zones maps, but of course the second half kind of getting away from them in that last one. So a lot of props to them. They'll get. Let's see if they can make podium with a 3rd place finish. But these 2 teams are guaranteed a podium finish. The question is, which place will they finish here in the first SOS of the year? And it's our first look into Usagi Fan Club, which, by the way, the 2-0 over the winner POV team and 3-1 over the Count My Band team, which we saw earlier in SOS. To no surprise, I'm sure one of them's been a huge fan of Usagi. With the other one, there is a member, Teeny, who is just part of this Usagi Fan Club squad that, for the most part, is just another pickup for the most part. But 2 members are from Usagi, being CJ and Ryu. That's what lines up this Usagi Fan Club team. And I mean, Fusion, if there's anything to believe, we saw a crazy game 5. Let's see how much Duck Testing has left in the tank. Although, if they're a team that participates in every tournament in the fall, they probably have a lot of stamina already, so they're probably ready for the challenge.
I suspect so. Their Sendo Dieting profiles could use one extra badge without how many. I didn't even know Sendo Dieting badges had multiple pages. They have 4 pages of CJ. At least has 4 pages of badges.
Oh my god!
Which is wild. Yeah, I mean, Usagi Fan Club, super duper strong players. Duck testing as well. I'm excited to see. We have not seen Usagi Fan Club in this top cut so far, unless I'm mistaken. Unless I don't think the match before we came on was Usagi Fan Club either. No. But yeah, a very interesting match. Wondering how duck testing is going to come into this one. Whether they're feeling like burnt out, fresh, the adrenaline is still hot, or Usagi Fan Club's just been kind of, you know, they've been iced a little bit from sitting after. I mean, we did have the match that ended up like essentially an entire match behind, which is why we did end up doing 2 quarterfinals matches. But either way, the best of 5 is going to start on Barnacle and Dime zones.
Way to kick off grand finals here. 3 zones map as well. The Clan Blitz and Target Control being the reverse, basically 4 and 2. So now duck testing has finally solved the riddle of zones map. Now they got a different opponent. Let's see where they are in a little bit of zones combat, if you will, for this game. And I am always of the opinion I want to see this go the distance, but I'm sure any person worth their salt out here are probably like, we need to just get to bed at some point down the road. So probably the dream is a 3-0 in some form or fashion. And of course, to what you alluded to earlier here, Fusion, I think one team wants to pick up a 2026 badge of their own. So hey, I think both teams will be geared up and ready to go. As you noted, Barnacle and Dime zones, we saw from the previous game, we see BandZ just flex into all sorts of different backlines and chargers, if you will. Kane's just been sticking with the VDS the entire time. Red Shell's been kind of changing on and off between the Alpha Brush and the Wiper. So the NZAP has been the constant. This is our first look into Usagi Fan Club here on stream. So I think, if anything, I want to see how the dynamics kind of change coming into this grand finals, Fusion.
Excuse me, you caught me drinking some water.
No worries.
But we seem to be migrating.
We're getting away from each other.
Oh God, what is this? This is like we're like a playing card. You know?
The hidden trading card game of production. They're probably. Oh man, man. Again, shout out to Pipe Gene, our producer here tonight, joining us with the shenanigans as well. By the way, we're gonna get a side change here. Duck Tyson's gonna be on the Bravo side this time. Our first look into this team on the Alpha side: Zimmies and 52s, Wiper and Pencil rounds out this Usagi Fan Club roster. Fusion, we are off and running to start game 1. I'm gonna be intrigued to see how the dynamics work out. Duck Testing is gonna be a couple steps behind. They lose 2 members of their own. That is gonna be Kaden and Red Shell that has dropped. It is now going to be Teeny and Usagi Fan Club. They're now looking with the template that they're playing in to see if they can lock them out a little bit further. A trade is going to benefit Usagi Fan Club at the end, and that is going to be Kane. They're going to be cut down there by Teeny, but Teeny is going to be eliminated. You so far, 60 points remaining here. Fusion, Usagi Fan Club is running pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, Leaf's done an incredible job so far, just getting up in the faces of duck testing with that 52 cal, dropping a wall in their face. Not even needing one there, but it certainly made it much more difficult for duck testing to set up and just get their plans going. We have not really seen any specials besides that Wavebreaker come out. Teeny with a hammer and just the exact right spot. Not finding one with that hammer, but is in such a good spot. Again, they're able to find one. And duck testing not even going to sniff the zone in game 1.
I think we may have answered the question if Usagi Fan Club's has been nice. I think they were just geared up and ready to go coming into the nighttime. Maybe they'd gotten dinner before with how long the other set went. No, that was really dominant from Usagi Fan Club. TD just did a good chunk of the work. The two down, just incredible from what we saw there as well. Fist bumps there for Usagi Fan Club as Zones Barnacle Dime is there, and I think Fusion, to say the least, Duck Testing has lost zones. This is not probably the more this is the convincing loss that Duck Testing had to take. They have won the non-zones map in the previous set, but now they're gonna have to see if they can match that with how fast Usagi Fan Club was playing in that zones map. So Museum de Alfonso Clan Blitz, a very typical Clan Blitz map that we see. I mean, Fusion, that Usagi Fan Club didn't miss a step whatsoever.
No, I mean, they put their this was
you've escaped your box. I think the box is filled, unfortunately, here.
God, this is the urinal meme.
Oh no! Oh no! Was not. I wasn't expecting that to see. I wasn't expecting you to.
Right, I just brought that into mine.
It's silly hours. It is silly hours into the evening.
It's silly hours, and by silly hours I mean 8 p.m.
Okay, granted, the East Coast is 11 p.m. and for me it's 10, and I'm sure it's 10 p.m. out here. So a lot. Now I've moved over to the other box here.
Welcome.
Hey, there you go. You got now. The box is also filled. I think both teams have waited long enough. It is close into the nighttime here. Game 2 is coming up here. Stamper being dished out your right TD, not the wiper this time. Weapon changes. Are we going to see a flexible weapon change? Yes, we will. The answer is going to be BandZ this time on that custom E leader. They got custom E leader from BandZ, got them 2 dubs so far. I mean, Fusion, anything to make out of what we saw from Teeny. As Teeny goes down immediately, the weapon changes from Teeny and BandZ.
I mean, the sword certainly, I think, can make some sense here. Just extra long range on this map is very valuable. But something that I thought was really interesting, Red Shell opened extremely aggressively. This is such an, I guess, open map in the middle that you don't necessarily have to directly go head-to-head to contest someone to get towards the enemy plat. Duck Testing knew Usagi Fan Club was kind of going to rush them, so taking the flank, the off angle, Red Shell was kind of able to freely walk up to the enemy plat, giving Duck Testing that early advantage, but unfortunately not able to make anything out of it. Usagi Fan Club did a great job just collapsing and shutting it down even after going several members down. The bubble in the plat's going to clear some extra space for them. Usagi Fan Club now in that same exact position Duck Testing was in just 30 seconds earlier.
Yeah, and pretty much the exact same position that we are seeing here. So gonna be a few things to give note of Teeny. Now this time you see if they can get value from the Zipcaster. The answer is gonna be no, as it is gonna be the delayed 3 situation there. Duck Testing able to clear out the ground, and now we're stuck into a very neutral setup here. Duck Testing quickly spawns the power clam in their favor. That's gonna be Kaden in the controls there with that power clam. Now Kaden makes the jump closer to their team for the most part, but they're gonna be caught off guard there because Teeny snuck from behind. They're only gonna lose just the zap, so they're still holding on to the man advantage here. Kaden's gonna be trying to move right up, trying to see if they can find that opening there. A second power clam, by the way, has also made an appearance there. Red Shell's looking for the entrance, and there is gonna be the lead winning that one. There is Red Shell. The jump shot is good, but that's all it's gonna be, as it's just Red Shell there on the delayed wipe is there. Fusion, all that being said and done, all the effort that Duck Testing had, it only leads to the one and done clash.
Yeah, I mean, it can be very difficult to push on this map, but they certainly were looking to get a little bit more out of that. It felt like they just looked away for a second, and by the time they looked back, Leaf was already in their face with that 52 gal, making it extremely difficult for them to move up, just move up towards the basket. You saw how long they were sitting there with clams. Now a lot of power clams for Usagi Fan Club. They're going to get their specials very quickly, but while all this is happening, 2 members end up going down. One gets kind of singled out there, and Ray is just going to move into defense mode, set up that bubble, hopefully get some jumps back in, help their team set up defense. Super duper stally game. More than halfway through, the only score of this game, that singular power clam. So the pressure is on Usagi Fan Club to make a move, albeit they don't necessarily need to get too many.
They were trying to look for the finishing blow, almost a Captain Falcon punch with the three power move clams in their possession, but they only got reduced down to 1. I think down to nothing so far. So a valiant offensive setup just going to lead to nothing, and it looks like BandZ was kind of caught in no man's land. But BandZ somehow getting the pick onto Ryu, then really turns back, takes out Teeny in the process. The Kraken doing work so far, and it is still the power claim in their possession. Now trying to throw this one around. Ryu gets caught out again. BandZ the exact same shot there as well, and it is going to be the second one. They do take out Leaf. The problem is the rest of the group is kind of falling apart at the seams here on this offensive push, so they are going to have to retreat for their lives. Now it's a 3-member down situation. Red Shell has had a firm control. I think expect a jump here from BandZ, unless BandZ's just going to try to swim up and try to assume some position. They weren't able to take full advantage of the opportunity here, But right now, a minute and 10 left to go on the clock, and Ryu going down again to Red Shell. It is still the one and done push. This could be the opening if Duck Testing is able to do just that. They got a lot of power claims to work with here, Fusion.
Yeah, they certainly do. Kaden managing to make it to the basket. There's, yes, another 30 points of Lord and Red Shell not able to get it in. That could have been a death knell onto Usagi Fan Club, but instead it's just an extra pick in the stagger. There are a lot of clams ready right for the picking here on Exam Dolphincino. Usagi Fan Club with 30 seconds left needs to get perhaps 3 power clams into that basket in order to win this game. They're going to need to do it under some pressure here, as Duck Testing looks very strong here in game 2, but they seem cool as a cucumber, just kind of waiting, letting Duck Testing move in, let them get the picks for themselves as the way to the basket clears up, and the rest of Usagi Fan Club moves up, but Red Shell, just a thorn in their side, sitting on that left, is going to find 2 picks, shut down any hopes of Usagi Fan Club. That's a quad coming out from Red Shell to finish game 2. Incredible stuff. This overtime is merely a formality. That's the only clam on the map right now.
Red Shell, Zipcaster triple. They do get wiped out, but I mean, all that being said and done, son, that was actually a wipe out in favor of Duck Testing. So that is just additional cherry on top. And that quad from Red Shell was just the strawberry on top of the delicious sundae there. So that was Duck Testing. Incredible work. We thought it was going to be the one and done push the entire time. This was actually a power clam only game. I just realized. You all scored for just power clams for the most part. So very good work so far from Duck Testing as well. Finding great opportunities, great patience overall, and and they were able to make that one count. Great work from Red Shell against Usagi Fan Club. And Fusion, this is kind of running the same tale as we saw from semifinals. Duck Testing solves the riddle of a non-zones map, but now they got to deal with something a little bit more snowbally, though, being the ship-shaped cargo code Splat Zones map coming up. Duck Testing will have to solve the same riddle this time to at least get me up 2-1 into the grand finals best of 5.
Oh no. I don't know about Usagi Fan Club, but I'm feeling a little tilted right now. We've reached containment, and I think so has the graphics package. Oh my goodness, you're having a lot of fun here, aren't you, Pipe Tree?
I'm also feeling tilted from seeing the quad there from Red Shell. I was a member of Usagi Fan Club. I'm sure they'll be cool about it though. But oh man, everything feels very tilted. Hey, we gotta leave. We gotta leave the tilt though. We gotta get out of this tilted screen at the very least.
Goodness. But yeah, we move back to zones. You sure do what you want. Yeah, we're moving back to zones. My memory only lasts like 15 seconds. So, oh yeah, ship shape. That's right.
There you go.
Give me a second. Interesting off angles I think you could take on this map here, especially like in that top left. I think that charger will be very useful, as well as those squelchies. So even though this perhaps Duck Testing has not done as well on zones, they certainly have the tools to succeed here. It is going to be Caden moving up onto that high ground to just rain paint down onto the opposition, while Usagi Fan Club sends one of their own to do the same deed, as very early, I think, yeah, the Zap is going to end up moving towards the top, ends up getting a cooler, but not quite able to do too much aggressively. They end up confronting this Wiper yet again, just another stally battle, but Duck Testing, they're taking this, right? They're getting points on the board. They're nearly down to 50.
Nearly close to the halfway marker for Duck Testing, to say the least, as that's just all the push is going to be there. It's just Teeny trying to do their best actually to try to get a lot of work with that Wiper. Now we get to see Leaf close to Caden, able to try to go on a one-on-one, but Caden wins the better end of that. But all that being said, done, it's still controlled in Usagi Fan Club. Quick footnotes here for you, Fusion. It is going to be the Crab Charger, by the way, returning back from Duck Testing here. So BandZ's going to be back to their bag of tricks there, because Elise and Teeny's back on the Weber, as we are just seeing right now, as the lead being changing hands over to Usagi Fan Club. And now this is actually looking pretty dominant here from Usagi Fan Club from a paint perspective here. About 43 points remaining and still going down. The Auto Brush has, Red Shell has that Zipcaster ready to go. So is the Crab Tank. The Crab Tank can be in great position to paint. All 4 specials are online. line. The Crab Tank, the Cooler, the Wave Breaker, if that means anything, has come into view. Resho gets a pick onto Ryu. All 4 specials invested so far, and Resho does get 2 picks. That should open the door. The 3rd pick is going to be following suit. Fusion, all 4 specials invested. It gets what it needs in the end. And Usagi Fan Club, by the way, also going 3 down. And now this is a great opportunity for duck testing coming into the zones map.
Yeah, I mean, that was gross coming out from Red Shell. I'm dropping back down and zip casting through the floor because that's just a mechanic in this game. Absolutely disgusting, just turning a losing situation into a winning one. Duck testing now, no penalty online. They are ticking down that clock, and a huge pick from Caden that is going to be the bubble user. They do end up going down in the process as well, but that bubble is not going to last for very long. The 52 gal ends up being able to move closer to that zone. The timer continues to tick. It's a neutral zone here, but the flank from Teeny gets the pick on BandZ just before they take the lead. Duck testing is going to come up a little short. Usagi Fan Club just saves their lead in the nick of time and puts a hefty penalty on to duck testing, and they're now going to have to do it yet again if they want to win this game.
They're gonna have to do it again, but Red Shell in the right position at the right time, and that's gonna be the wipeout. For sure gonna be the zones flipped, zones in control of duck testing, and now Red Shell has a zip caster online if they want to do some really good thing, really funny things here, basically in the base of Usagi Fan Club. It is going to be banded, by the way, on that charger. That 52, by the way, also dropping once more. Leave drops, so that is going to be one. That's going to be the second member drops, and the third one all following suit. Skirmish of the crossboard, the delayed wipeout is there, and that should be the game very much here, as all the members are going to be spawning out of Usagi Fan Club. That is going to be Teeny trying to do their best with the Ultra Stamp, but all the members are going down one by one here. Fusion, duck testing only views that zone slip as a bump in the road at the end of the day. A 2-1 lead. One more map win, Fusion. And duck testing would be the first SOS winner of the year.
Yeah, I mean, new year, new you, duck testing. We'll see. They're looking very strong here. I mean, what do you think changed? Because game 1 was completely one-sided. It felt like duck testing was just run over in a landslide. Usagi Fan Club was just able to do whatever they wanted on Barnacle and Dime zones. But the last 2 games, things have looked very different. It's felt like Usagi Fan Club has been being very aggressive, but they have not gotten anything out of it. What do you think the difference is?
Honestly, if there's anything that we know from game 1, this could have been a case of duck testing realizing that, okay, Usagi, because they had to play the previous set basically kind of in a very similar pace or tempo, basically, that they had to deal with. That would be the we are now reversed. I hate to break it down, but but to cap it off here, their match against what was it? It was the Rays team, basically. That was Giga's team. They were playing to the same tempo that we saw there, and Usagi Fan Club was playing a little bit more faster. So now you got to see duck testing. They're like, all right, they're playing a little bit faster. If we can get ourselves all clubbed together and see if we can match that. That's how I see it. And they're able to rise up to the challenge. Excuse me for that one. And I mean, Fusion duck testing looking really strong, as you noted there in the previous 2 games. And game coming up here being tower control on Hagglefish Market. We're still in reverse. We're still looking in the other direction here, Fusion. And for Usagi Fan Club, they just got to recapture what got them the dub here, as we are about to load in for game 4. This is going to be a tournament point here coming up here for duck testing for those tuning in. And there's going to be very little weapon changes. In fact, none at all. And BandZ is going to go back to the custom E leader if that they're away from the crab charger. And basically, that's the only change that we see so far here, Fusion.
Yeah, that's the only thing we see so far. We do still see same stuff coming out from Usagi Fan Club. They know what they want. We are here on tower control. Oh my goodness, was that a stray bomb or was that a snipe around that right side? That might have been a snipe. In which case, incredible collateral coming out. Duck testing coming out of the gate strong, just sprinting down, but perhaps getting a little ahead of themselves, ends up getting taken out on the enemy plat. That is a very easy first checkpoint for them. You can sometimes run into quite a bit of difficulty there. They managed to catch the wiper on the side of Usagi Fan Club, lacking a bit, flanking through that right side, but not quite aware of their surroundings. So that first checkpoint seems like it's going to be it for now, as the momentum and ground seems to be dwindling. Duck testing will take that though. Super strong opening, lets them get to that very difficult second checkpoint even quicker, forces Usagi Fan Club to use their specials early. And that's going to let Red Shell get into a very sneaky position, get out in time. And now Usagi Fan Club pushing with a gun full of blanks. They don't have all the specials online ready the way they would have. But yeah.
Yeah, and they basically try to move their way forward and find themselves stuck between a rock and a hard place. Exactly what you know it there too. Without any of the specials, not able to make some clearance gain here. So that's still the lead. Excuse me, for Duck testing, as Usagi Fan Club still trying to recapture the magic they got from game one. Granted, that could have been the case of a team that was thrown off guard based on the tempo and pace that they're playing with. Team's trying to enable a lot of that as teams just trying to move fast with everybody else. This is going to be a jump that will not get punished, but King does roll into the opposition. That is going to be the three members that have dropped. This is going to be a prime opportunity here after the tower being pushed close to where Duck Testing was scoring earlier for Usagi Fan Club to try to see if they can match it on their own, but TNE being shut down early means that will probably slow down just a bit. Fusion, about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left to go on the clock, and Duck Testing has found a response each time against Usagi Fan Club.
Yeah, they have. Toxicus winning its battle against Red Shell there on the right side, but does not end up getting the pick. Duck Testing looking like they're in a good spot, but they perhaps have not gotten as much mileage as they would have wanted. They've been in several really, really good positions so far. Red Shell does find 2 nice picks, but in the process, Usagi Fan Club also goes 2 members down. So it's kind of just been a story of that throughout this game so far. Both teams are making big plays, and neither team's able to capitalize as a result. So Usagi Fan Club has not looked like the better team in this match so far, but the score is still so close that it could go either way in the blink of an eye, and it seems like that is exactly what's going to happen as Usagi Fan Club members end up flanking, end up wiped out completely. The Wigbreaker is in an excellent spot. I don't know, the more I see Wigbreaker, the more I grow on it, or it grows on me. Duck Testing ends up moving up to that second checkpoint. There's so much pressure going on. I would be surprised if they're able to take it here, but they managed to get the checkpoint. 3 members still alive in the process. Now looking to finish out this tournament, Kiln.
They're looking to finish this tournament in grand style here, but they did overinvest just a tiny bit. But that is going to be the damage that is going to be dealt here against Usagi Fan Club. Duck Testing, oh my goodness, down to the 15 points remaining and not much time left on the clock. So that is gonna. So one thing that Usagi Fan Club now has to do is they're gonna have to go through the gauntlet of 3 checkpoints, make that, I guess, two and a quarter's worth, to see if they can get lead and extend the set just a little bit more. But they're getting completely thrown off guard. There's a lot of wiggle room for Duck Testing to see if they can keep going as aggressive as they can here. Fusion, 45 seconds left. They're gonna have to look for picks. Again, you're gonna have to look out for Teeny and Leaf to see if they can get value out of some of the picks that they can get so far, because the rest of the team still being completely thrown off guard by this non-stop aggression that Duck Testing is dishing out onto them. The 2 members have gone down there from Usagi Fan Club. Any trade or any advantages for Duck Testing is gonna favor them tremendously. Down to the 20 seconds left to go on the clock, and Usagi Fan Club needs to have any last hopes of a push coming up here as we are winding down close to the clock, hitting all zeros. Advantage still into Duck Testing again. Trades benefiting them heavily here. The 3 members have gone down. That should officially be the tournament here. Fusion, Duck Testing winners of the first Swimmer Sync of the year. Swimmer Sync 212 winners out of the Great White brackets, and Duck Testing did that in great style after the first match caught them off guard.
Yeah, I mean, oh my, oh my
Time to go to bed.
Somebody is so EP they fell asleep with their controller and accidentally hit home XA. Congratulations to Duck Testing. They're going to be victorious in this tournament. A really good adaptation from them after that game one. It felt like they were not aware of the pace that Usagi Fan Club would play at, and they adapted very quickly. I mean, I think it's really impressive how quickly they adapted, given that they managed to win the next 3 games. They didn't even need to take it into that game 5. I don't know. They're a super fun group to watch.
I love watching any members from Duck Motif, especially getting to see Kaden just do their part in the 3 quarters. The Duck Motif pick up there as well. So, I mean, they look phenomenal. I'm sure the first game was, if anything, was a warm up map for them, as they were having to deal with. Okay, Usagi Fango just got the better end of us there as well. So, hey, good work for them. Good work for them. That is going to be the tournament for them. Usagi Fango will have to just settle with second, but still a solid placement in this tournament. And then Raise Line XP, as we saw earlier, the 3-0 to get to capture the bronze for this week edition of Swimmer Sync. Fusion, this has been a fun tournament that we got to watch. We got to cast a whole bunch of sets to get together there, and it's always fun working with you, Fusion. But I'm sure the fatigue of being of continuing to be up is starting to kick in. So I think this is a good time for us to head out of here. Fusion, where can the people find you?
You can find me at Sea Battle, and I hope I can find some of those guys on Duck Testing too. I know we see a couple of them frequently, and one is across the border. So maybe sometime soon. Where can they find you, Kyon?
You can find me going to Booyah Bay next month, because that is supposedly my next LAN thing, pending any last minute issues there. But I think I should be set to go to that event next month. Otherwise, you can find me on Blue Sky, Kion2570, Twitch, of course, Kion2570 as well. Shout out to our producer, by the way, Pipe Dream, giving us all the shenanigans late into the night, and also the great views that you guys all got to see here. But folks, that was the first week. That is the first Swimmer Stink of the year, and now cheers to a handful of more Swimmer Stinks throughout the rest. But we're gonna get out of here. At least because if I'm stuttering this much, that means the fatigue is settling in. With our producer, Pipe Chain, Michael Confusion. I'm Kyon saying thank you. Have a good night to you all. Over here. We'll see you guys next week for another edition of Swimmer Stink here on IPL. Until then, take care and have yourselves a great evening to you all.